hope I didn't scare you. Good morning. No, let's get a good one. Come on. I mean, we drove 4 hours over here. Good morning. Good morning. Okay, that's a good district to welcoming. I want to welcome everybody to this. I want to call to order the regular meeting, May 15th, 2025 at 8:30 in the Cloudcroft Village Council Chambers. Let the record show that 4 commissioners are present. I have 1 commissioner. Are you there, Commissioner Chenoweth? Commissioner Chenoweth? Okay. We have Commissioner Chenoweth on Zoom. So before we approve before we go to the Pledge of Allegiance, there's rules when we have somebody on Zoom, and every time they speak, they have to identify themselves, and we're gonna have to do a roll call vote on everything we do. So if you see us saying, well, why are they taking a roll call vote? Because usually it's all in favor, I oppose, and we move on. So just so that you bear with me on that. So let the record show that 4 are present, and we'll do a roll call. Here. Here.
Commissioner Hodges? Here. Commissioner Chenoweth? Commissioner Taylor?
So let the record show that a quorum has been established. I would like for you to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Yes, sir.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You've all had a chance to review the agenda. Is there any additions, deletions, or anything else?
Yes.
If not, what is the pleasure of this commission?
If you remind them to share audio, I can share it.
I do have
But on the agenda, do we have a motion to approve the agenda? We have a motion by Commissioner Tonjes, and do we have a second? Second by Commissioner Taylor to approve the agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Now we'll move on to the approval of minutes, the regular meeting of March 27th, 2025. Is there any comments, additions, deletions?
I do have one comment, Chairman.
Make sure I'm not
Michael Brandt and myself.
At the end of the meeting, I requested that we're gonna try to schedule Sunland Park for the November commission meeting.
Okay.
And it didn't show up in the minutes, so I don't know if we can possibly approve the minutes by exception, as long as that's added to the minutes.
Do you want to make a motion to approve the minutes and to add the request for location?
I move that we approve the minutes by adding the Sunland Park, the request by Commissioner McElroy to approve Sunland Park in the May meeting.
Do I have a second? We have a second by Commissioner Taylor. Can I do a roll call? Yes.
Applications
Yes.
in there
Commissioner Hodges?
work very differently than
Commissioner Chenoweth?
Okay, it passes unanimous. Let's go ahead and move on to the introductions.
So, Mr. Chairman, we, to Commissioner McElroy's point, we were able to update the agenda prior to the 78-hour notice to add item J, which was action on revisions to the 2025 STC schedule.
Okay.
And so it's not reflected on the hard copy you have here, but it was included in the final agenda that went out. And so I just want to be sure that the record reflects that item J under action items, section 9 will be 2025 schedule proposed changes.
And when we get the updated minutes or for approval on our next meeting, that we have the change that was made here.
Okay. No, not yet.
With that, we're gonna go ahead and go into introductions, Secretary.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's good to be here in Cloudcroft. I want to thank everybody for hospitality. It's a beautiful town. I want to start off by introducing Mark Garwood. He's a trustee with Tularosa in Otero County. Mark, you want to stand? Thank you for being here. Mayor Lynn Crawford, Mayor of Ruidoso. Stand up, Mayor. You can do it. I work a lot with Mayor Crawford. He's great.
And I wanna commend you on behalf of this commission on the job you've been doing down there with the flooding and the fires and everything else. Coming from District 4, we experienced that and we're still experiencing it from the fires we had down there. So I know there's a lot of work that's been done and a lot of work that's still to be done, so.
Thank you. Most of the responsible parties are right in the.
It's a partnership, right?
Absolutely.
And that's when communities come together, and that's when families come together. Sometimes there's family you haven't seen in I don't know how long, and when you need them, they're there. So we all come together, especially in rural America. We come together for a good cause. So, thank you.
All right, we have Daryl Johnson, a counselor with the city of Roswell. Yeah, good to see you.
And he's still with DOT.
Robert Smith, is it with the city of Robert Smith? Is it with the city of Albuquerque? Is that correct? Good to see you back there. Manuel Brusella, he's a trustee also with the city of Tularosa. Thank you for being here, trustee. I'm hoping he's in the room. I know he was out and about, but Tim King is the mayor of Cloudcroft. There you go.
Welcome.
You were.
I want to welcome everybody here. Thanks for taking Cloudcroft to the meeting. So appreciate everybody here. We have a trolley. We had some parking over by the cement plant. Most people park here now. If anybody's parked over the cement plant, we have a trolley go back and forth. So when the meeting's over, if anybody parks over the trolley, it's easier. But I just want to thank you guys again.
Thank you, and I'll be thanking you under welcoming remarks. We appreciate being here and you hosting us.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm not sure if he's here, but we were chatting a little last night. We have Jason Burns is the new county manager for Lincoln. I don't know if he made it in this morning, but I wanted to recognize him. All right. With that, Mr. Chairman, that's it with introductions, and then there's just so that you're all aware, there's a good number of individuals wanting to speak on public comment.
Okay. With that, I'm gonna move on to have the commission introduce themselves. We'll start with Commissioner Taylor.
Morning, I'm Commissioner Taylor, District 5, as far as you can get from here. 400-mile trip. Anyway, it's great to be here in Cloudcroft.
I'm Gary Tonjes, District 2, Southeast New Mexico. My mayor is here and team. And anyway, great to have DOT down here for its meeting in Cloudcroft. Terrific little town.
John McElroy from District 1, the southwestern part of the state, Doña Ana County, Hidalgo, Luna, those areas, Socorro, Sierra County. Good to be here. I drove up this morning. I didn't spend the night, but nice town. I've been in Cloudcroft before several times. In fact, I've even stayed at the lodge. So beautiful town. Reminds me a lot of northern New Mexico. Some of the areas that are up there, because I'm originally from up there. But thank you very much. Appreciate your hospitality.
No, I'm Walter Adams. I'm with District 4. I I was an employee for 42 years out of District 4 before I became a commissioner. And I've been here 6.5 years, so I'm almost to hit the 49-year mark over here. So it's a pleasure. I feel blessed to be here. And the reason I feel blessed is because we have some of the hardest working people anywhere. I will put our organization against anybody, day, night, 24/7. Our employees who are standing back there, I like, on behalf of this commission, commend them for the job they do each and every day. You guys are fantastic, and if you notice, that's why at every meeting, we try to bring in as many employees as we can, because it's because of them that we get things done. It's because of them that highways and the safety and everything else, the snow, they allow us to get to our families in all kinds of, and I know now probably during the floods and fires, you've seen them everywhere. So this commission really respects you, appreciates you, and never think that the job you do is not great, because we talk about partnerships, we talk about puzzles. And you know, at DOT, whether it's maintenance, construction, IT, whether it's audit, it doesn't matter. You're all a piece of the puzzle. And when you're putting together a puzzle, if one piece is missing, it's not complete. So everybody in here plays an important part in what we do each and every day. I also want to get off that and get into this. I encourage each and every one of you to continue to have each other's back. We call it the DOT family. And sometimes we're out there, and every time that these guys get out there on the roadways, they're putting their lives on the line. We just had an accident this week in District 4, and we had traffic control set up on I-25. We had somebody cross into the traffic control, into the barrels, hit two of our employees. One of them got flipped up, and they both got hit. I'm pleased to say that one of them is really scraped up, but he was sent home that day from the hospital. Could have been terrible. The other one had a little bit, he had a broken arm. They thought at first he had a broken femur, a broken leg. And when I say just a broken arm, I don't mean it in that context. I mean, again, that could have been a catastrophe. It could have been fatal. So our prayers are with them and their families. And I just want to remind everybody, even the people here that aren't with DOT, even the ones that are with, when you see those barrels and you see the traffic cones and you read the signs, please observe them. And I also want to say that I would like to somewhere down the line, we used to do this years ago, somehow get a team together. You know how in some communities they have career day? And I would like some of our guys to go in there and talk to the students, the ones that are getting to drive, and let them know what the signs are. You know, you show them a sign where it has a straight thing, and it has one that's like that, and they don't know what it is. It means the lane's closed and this lane's open. And I think we need to get back to a little bit of education, especially with our younger drivers. Today with cell phones, today with technology, things have just gotten a little bit to where we got to keep more control. So keep vigilant out there. Watch each other's back like you always have, and make sure you're safe. And whether you get down to do something like a quick pothole or something, make sure that you guys are safe. Our number one concern is your safety. So I want to welcome all of you. I want to welcome everybody that came to this meeting today. We appreciate it. And again, I just want you to know that we appreciate each and every one of you. With that, I'm going to go on to welcoming remarks, and I think I said it all. I want to thank Cloudcroft for hosting us. It's a beautiful community, and we want to thank you for taking the time to want to have a meeting here. This commission has been made it a priority to travel, and we travel the whole state because we want to hear what everybody has to say. So we've been bringing the meetings to you instead of you having to go to a central location. We've been just about we've been in Jal, Hobbs, we've been in Silver City, now we're here. been in Rio Doso, we've been all over. So thank you for hosting us. We appreciate your hospitality. And I also want to thank D2 for the refreshments that they provided today. Feel free to get in there and get some burritos. I saw somebody loading some in the trunk. I don't know where they were going. And that's all right too, okay? And I want to thank Lisa Sandoval and Candice Varela, are you here? For your work in setting everything up. And I want to thank our IT people who are right here. They come in and they set all this stuff up, and then we just show up and have fun. But they come the day before, and I just want to thank them as well. And I want to thank Christine, who's our admin, Tammy, for helping us. And it takes a team to put all this together. So sometimes they don't get the recognition, but they're very appreciated too. So with that, I'm gonna move on to public comment. Secretary, I'll turn it back over to you.
First off, we have Jim Garcia from DCN, Executive Director.
Thank you, Chairman Adams, Secretary.
Welcome.
Appreciate that. Jim Garcia, Executive Director for Associated Contractors of New Mexico. Representing the thousands of workers that are out there in the field that are doing a lot of really good work for the state and for the people of New Mexico. Chairman, today, it's bittersweet that I introduce my guest that I'm bringing here today, but I have with Mesa Verde, I have Mr. Derek Jones. Derek, if you don't mind standing up. I also have Bobby Guthrie and Julie. Julie, stand up, please. So I just want to let you know, Chairman, that these people have been very involved with ACNM in our ability to raise money for fundraising, for scholarships, and for some of the other objectives that we're trying to do to help the communities. So they've been really a big part of that. They're down here. It was a month and a half ago that I told them about this meeting. I invited them to come down here, not knowing that I would be sharing yet another terrible story today. We know that most recently we had the stand down, and we also had the Awareness Week, Work Zone Awareness Week was in April. And sure enough, we went around the state. We fed over 1,000 employees and talking about awareness and handing out heat intervention programs for them as well. But I'm sad to say that Mesa Verde lost 2 employees in the last 2 weeks. One was a suicide, and the other one was a terrible accident that happened on one of the job sites. And I thank them for letting me bring that up today. It is an awareness. Secretary and I have been talking about this. We know it is an issue, but it's a real issue, and it's really right here in our backyard. So I commend you for coming, Derek, today, and for helping us share that story. They were 2 good people. One of the kid was a 19-year-old kid that committed suicide. He was the life of the party, and he was very engaged and very helpful. So you just never know who you're talking to and what you're talking about. But with that, I would like to end this by saying that these are great companies that we are working with, and they do a great job for the communities. Thank you, Chairman. Appreciate that.
I'm going to give each one of them 5 minutes. 5 minutes?
No.
Let's give them, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Secretary.
Thank you. And on that note, send our condolences on behalf of this commission to the families. And since we're on that, and I was going to bring it up a little bit later, I want to do a moment of silence. We lost one of our family, a DOT family that I worked with very closely. His name was Stefan Kosicki. I don't know if any of you remember him. Yeah, you knew him well. Yeah, and he was a great guy. And when we started Best Practices, which is sharing innovations and ideas throughout the state and giving out awards, he came to me one day and he said he really liked it. And he liked the fact that we were sharing ideas and that it was the employees who were doing it. He came up and to me, and he was our videographer, and he said, let's do some film, let's do some video. And he did fantastic video. And we were able to put these things and show them at the commission meetings. Great guy. loved the department, loved the employees. He was a little rough around the edges, but when you got to know him, he had a big heart. And so if we could just have a moment of silence for Stefan Kosicki. Thank you. He will be missed, and I know some of you back there that were involved with best practices saw him when he'd come with his camera and he'd hook on you all this stuff, and he'd say, "Hey, let's do it again." So we're gonna miss him. He was a great guy. So with that, we'll continue.
Mr. Chairman, next is Mary Luna. She's a resident of Cloudcroft.
Welcome.
Thank you. I'm not awesome involved in local politics, but I really am interested in state politics. We want to serve the Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming and showing interest today.
Mr. Chairman, next is Andrew. Oh gosh. Andrew, I may not be able to say your last name right. Come on up. Oh.
Andrew, don't let him mess it up. Come on.
That's all right. Thanks for trying, Secretary.
Sorry.
Good morning, Commissioners.
He's one of our consultants.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Good morning, Commissioners and Chairman. Yeah, my name is Andrew Sutliff. I'm a consultant engineer, and I'll keep it very brief because I'll be honest, I thought that was a sign-in sheet. So, but
you can sit down.
Yeah. I brought a.
Hey, that's what they all say.
Yeah. I did bring a couple team members with me, Richard Jimenez and Arturo Bernal. I think they're also on there, so I'll let them decide if they want to say anything extra. But for the record, we've had the absolute privilege to work with District 2 on a few different projects, and one that's been personal for me is the New Mexico 128 corridor. We're excited to say that the first two phases will be going to construction later this year. It's an extremely dangerous corridor the way it is today. And so just wanted to applaud the district for their efforts to find funding and to encourage that further whenever possible. Of course, I know that's around the whole state, but thank you.
I just wanted you to know that happened to me once. I thought it was a sign-up sheet, and I want a toaster.
Oh, hey. Well,
we don't have any toasters, though.
Sounds good. Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, maybe before we go, I should ask, did anybody put their name on this to get a burrito? All right. Mark is our supervisor in Vaughn, Mark Madrid.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good morning, I guess. Oh, it's signed, but signed wrong. Posters available?
I want to, I visited with Mark and others at the patrol, and Mr. Chairman, talking about outreach to high schools. The Vaughn Patrol, I think, given how close and tight the community is, they take it upon themselves to do outreach to the high school there, share about the equipment, how their job and role and function in the region. So, Mark, I know you're adamant about doing that. I appreciate it. So, thank you.
I know all these guys at the Vaughn Patrol very, very well. So they do a good job, and they've won Patrol of the Year many times. So our thanks to you.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you guys too.
Okay, now we have the Mayor Pro Tem of Tatum, Joe Kalicek. Would you like to, please?
John Tatum, just concerned about the conditions of Highway 380.
Is anything, just the condition of the road, or?
Now, they're just citizens of Tatum that are concerned about the conditions, traveling back and forth to Tatum.
Francisco, who's our district engineer, he's very good. He'll take a look at it and at least try to keep it, passable, and do the best they can to get it as safe and flowing as possible. But feel free to contact Francisco at any time.
And Joe was, he worked for DOT as a supervisor.
So you know.
Yeah. I'm just here for the citizens of Tatum. Our last meeting on Tuesday, we had several come with, worried about tearing their cars up, hitting in potholes, especially once you leave the cap cross between mile marker 185 or 190 on that westbound.
Well, let your constituents know, because it is important that you do, that you did attend the meeting, you made us aware of it, and that you're in communication with the district engineer Francisco, and we'll continue to communicate and try to get things done. And thank you for being part of the DOT family too. So.
Yes, sir. Thanks a lot.
Mr. Chairman, next we have Bobby Guthrie, Contracts Manager with Alamogordo.
We also thought it was the second. It's early morning for us.
Secretary, do we have anything in the budget like for 10 toasters?
No.
I'll buy her a toaster.
There you go.
And so then we also have Julie. There you go. Another toaster.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, that's all we have on the list, unless there are others that didn't have a chance. Please.
No, I want everybody to know here that we have fun. And I'll tell you this, having worked in the patrols, John knows this, he worked there. If you're not having fun, there's no sense of being here. So we take care of business and we take everything serious, but at the same time, we have fun. Because if we're not having fun, then we shouldn't be here. And we have our meetings, they're real informal, to where we don't hold anything to a minute or 2 minutes, or you can't come up because we're past it. Feel free to come up. And if anybody still wants to come up, Mayor, you come up. And then anybody after the mayor, you come up.
Well, I don't have everybody signed up because I missed it. I was supposed to sign up. I just want to say there's so many people in this room that have made a difference in the village of Ruidoso, Mr. Chairman, and especially Ms. Tanju, our commissioner. But thank you for everything that you've done. I mean, so many of your people, I know Cisco over here always answers the phone. He doesn't always give us what we want, very rarely, but he does a great job. And I tell you, we're so proud just the times that we're on the roads.
Mayor, that's not what you told me outside.
Well, I know, but I just found a new need, Mr. Chairman. And I'll have to admit, Secretary Cerna, there was some times that when we lost the racetrack, and so much of our infrastructure was gone, a big part of our economic system was gone, and we had run into many, many dead ends. We didn't know what we were going to do. We had FEMA on the left, we had DHSEM on the left, we had NRCS. We didn't know Khmer from Sikkim. We didn't know what we were doing. And at the point when we didn't know what we were going to do, how we were going to do it, where we were going to get the money, or even a plan, Secretary Cerna, the governor, and other folks that are in this organization came up with a plan that made it work for us to be able to get our racetrack back open. How do we do it? How do we protect Spaghetti Flats? We have somebody from Ruidoso Sedans in here, Joey Jarvis over in the corner. But those guys did an unbelievable job. Mike Smelker, where are you at? There you are, right there. That guy right there. Mata Jr. Lewis. There you are, right there. Those two guys worked day and night on that project, and are still working. Your guys are all over our community making things happen. It took us so long to get things turned over to where we knew what the plan was, and then where we're going to get the funding, and then dealing with FEMA is going to take years. So thankful to our legislators, our governor, and the DOT for stepping up and putting money in front of that and making that happen. And also, I mean, there's so many different divisions, the state aviation with Jane Lucero and Dan Moran, that's under your guys. They work hard for us too. So you're exactly right, Mr. Chairman. These folks work hard, and they're always fixing something. And I don't want to get another talking to Cisco about road cuts and not getting them back like they're supposed to do, but we have a responsibility as a community, as we all do, to do the best we can. But you're so receptive to what we need, so creative when we don't have an answer, and that's what it takes for the smaller communities that have a lot of big impacts. And so, again, we appreciate everything you do. Mike, Lewis, thank you guys for everything that you've done, because we're going to have opening day, Memorial Day, at the Ruidoso Sedans racetrack. And so it wasn't thought possible just a few months ago. We're running into deadlines, and we always meet them. And I appreciate the secretary and the engineer here, because these guys do a great job. They were just at our place the other day, working on situations, bridges, and never giving up. And I know we're just one in this big basket that's District 2 that is the state of New Mexico, but sometimes we feel like not the problem child, but the favorite child. And I just want to tell you that. So appreciate it, and thank you to all the employees here, because it's made our community come back. And when you come to town, you'll see just revitalization, smiles on folks' faces. Our GRT has just really come back in a powerhouse way. And it's all because our roads are cleared. And I haven't even mentioned the snow or any of that stuff, but when we had flooding, we'd call Cisco and the guys. They would come out and help us clear the roads, the low spots, all of those things. So thank you, Cisco, for that. And I called him an asshole in a meeting the other day, but it was in pure love. It really was. And I just want to publicly state I was just joking, so it was good.
Mr. Mayor, thank you for your comments, and I just want to let you know that we talk about partnerships, and I also serve on the State Fair Board.
Oh yeah,
we took in all the horses. Our
yes, you
director
did.
there that morning took all the horses right before the State Fair, and we housed them to help you guys out. But more importantly, I was with the governor last week, and she was very, very pleased with the leadership and the way that everybody has come together in that community.
Yeah.
And it's easier for the secretary and the governor and everybody to lend a helping hand when people are cooperative and wanting to get things done. So I know she's very appreciative of all the efforts, and as I mentioned earlier, and you guys have the leadership and you're getting things done. So we commend you on behalf of this commission. And this commission will always be there to assist in any which way we can. And that goes, like I said, 24/7. We don't sleep. We're like Las Vegas, Nevada.
Yeah.
And we're here. I mean, these guys get calls at 2:00 in the morning. I was there with them when we were out cleaning snows on Christmas Day, on our kids' birthdays. And so that's how much I appreciate them, because I know the sacrifices they made. But we all do.
Yes.
So thank you. And thank you for being a partner.
You bet. And thank you guys again. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Yeah. And with that, before we go on is there anybody else that wants to come up and public comment? Before we leave public comment, I'm going to have our secretary introduce the executive staff.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And thank you, Mayor. It's for all your kind words. We did work really hard, and a couple months ago we started negotiating the rededication of the Ricky Serna racetrack at Ruidoso. That didn't work. I tried for the Ricky Serna culvert at the Downs, and that didn't work. The Ricky Serna men's restroom wasn't acceptable. And so if you go to the Downs, you can enjoy, if you're a male, the Ricky Serna hand dryer, which we had to pay for and install. So I want to thank the mayor for his reciprocating generosity. But it's been a pleasure working for him. But thank you, Mr. Chairman. I did want to make sure to introduce our district engineers, and at the same time provide an update to on Mr. Paul Brasher, who you all may know has been out for a little while, recovering from some medical challenges that he's had. But I'll start off here first with Aaron Chavarria, District 1, District Engineer. I'm going to go in order because this is the way I send them emails. When I have to email all of them, I'm like, all right, Aaron. Francisco's next in District 2. And then typically it's Paul Brasher in District 3, but he's been out recovering from some health challenges, and Isaac Chavez is here. He's an Assistant District Engineer for Construction. And 4, we have Adam Romero. Thanks for being here. District 5 is ADE Javier Martinez. Rhonda Lopez is out. Her daughter is graduating tomorrow from high school, and having one graduating next week. I imagine she's got that 24-hour jitters ahead of the graduation. And then Lisa Vega with District 6. Thanks for being here. Our General Counsel, Steve Hamilton, wasn't able to be here. He's taking some much-deserved time off. And John Newell, Deputy General Counsel, is here. Thanks for being here, John. Jessica Cooper, Deputy Secretary. Our other Deputy Secretary, Mo Mobed. Thank you both for being here. Mr. Chairman, Now we know who everyone is.
I'm gonna do something a little different today. We I'll let you come up and introduce him, Francisco.
You want to do the chairman and commissioners? Do you want to start with the big crews and then the Vaughn and then Tularosa, and then we could save the employee of the year and supervisor of the year after.
I'm
the
gonna leave everything up to you.
So this year, 2024, our best patrol was Vaughn Patrol, and so. So not all could make it today. So just Vaughn Patrol, Mark Madrid under his leadership, as you all talked about, it's a great patrol as you drive by. Paul Lucero, lead man, Michael Botka, Ryan Martinez, Benjamin Aragon, Angelo Romo, Gerald Mora, and Daniel Leyva. And so, of course, we have a presentation, and I'll say my words that I was going to say to them now. Just dedicate it. Every time you go to the patrol, you drive through the area, well maintained. My mom and dad love this patrol because they drive to Colorado. Their grandkids are in Colorado, so they have to go through the area quite a bit. And although their districts do a good job, but they always tell me they always know when they enter District 2, and it commend the work they do there in Vaughn. So congratulations on your accomplishment in winning this year again. Like I said, multiple winners. So.
On behalf of this commission, we want to thank you for the job you do. Not today, not yesterday, but each and every day. And I've been there. I broke bread with you guys. I'm still waiting for the chicharrones you said you were going to make. and so it's an honor and a pleasure to stand side by side with you guys and represent the way you guys do. So if you want to take a quick picture.
Yep. You want to take a quick picture?
And that way we'll do, and then we'll do the other crew, and then we'll go to your report. Yeah.
to do, and then, like I said, we'll do the rest after the presentation. Our crew of the year for 2024 was the Tularosa Construction Project Office. So, just want to honor them. The whole crew is Brian Torres. He's our project manager. Gilbert Barella, Alex Serta, James Salinas, Zachary Padilla, Raymond Freeman, Jose Ramirez, Sean Roach, Alejandro Luna, Bryson Sparman, and Melissa. This is update list. So Melissa's our office manager. So I'm so proud of what they've accomplished for us. They were the crew that did, it'll be highlighted in my presentation, one of our completed projects in the US 285 corridor. We have so much work down there that Tularosa, we had to start an additional project office down there. And they understand, their role in construction, and they sign that paper, when they take that job that says transient, and they could be, sent somewhere else when the workload needs to be there. And, we send one or two to support the other project office, but this time the whole crew went from Tularosa to Carlsbad to support that project. And that sacrifice, the sacrifice they do, I know it's not easy. Their home of records there in Tularosa, their families are there, their kids, but they make that sacrifice for NMDOT. And, they were there for 2.5 years building that job. That job won an award for innovation, and, couldn't have been built it by the plans and specs without this crew. So congratulations on being crew of the year.
On behalf of this commission, we want to commend you and thank you for the job you do. And you take densities and all that good stuff. I want to tell you, when I first started, that's how long I've been here, like too long, is you use a nuclear densometer. John can relate to this. We used to use back then. We had this thing as a volume measure, and you had to take out this plate, and you had to dig a hole, and it had a balloon in it, and you had to go like that, and the balloon would go into the hole, and that's how you read it. So in the winter, you had to use antifreeze so that the thing wouldn't freeze and break the glass. But it's good to see another generation of inspectors and out there making sure that whatever the contractor is doing, that you're working together to make sure that it's a quality finished project. So thank you.
Wait for chairman. Secretary, so do we wait for the chairman? Okay. So, Chairman Adams and commissioners, it's always an honor to present about District 2 and highlight our accomplishments, acknowledge our employees. One thing that I love about our commission setup now is that we do travel and we go to the smaller municipalities, and it just shows, what DOT stands for. We don't just represent small communities, large communities. We represent all communities. So Commissioner Tonjes and myself, of course, want to thank the Village of Cloudcroft for hosting us, and we're excited to be here and to highlight District 2. So District 2, like most of our districts, are diverse. Every area is different. We got the plains in the east, the oil and gas industry in the southeast corner, and of course, this beautiful mountainous areas. And so we do this with 331 employees, 16 patrols and 6 project offices. So our overall operating budget is $45 million. So this year we did receive additional funds through a House bill of $25 million. So we are operating around $70 million. Currently, we're at an 11.48% vacancy rate. When I started, we were at 19.2. So I really want to thank our HR staff and all our staff for really coming together to try to get that vacancy rate down and get the support we need out there in operations. So district leadership, these are our ADEs and business manager. 4 years ago at D2, when I was hired to take over the district, it was myself, Daryl, and 1 ADE. And that was kind of what we had. And, lucky enough, AD, Assistant District Engineer Michael Smelker, applied and came from South Region, took over as Engineering Support Manager, and we were so lucky to get him. He was the bridge that kind of helped me hold the district together until we could get our vacancy rate down and hire additional leadership. Luis Mata, he's our Assistant District Engineer for engineering now. Michael had transferred over to construction. And our new ADE of maintenance is Kim Barnett. He recently came on. I've been on the job as D for 4 years, and for 4 years we did not have a maintenance engineer. And so we're lucky for Ken to come in and now be the leader of maintenance. Combined with those 3 gentlemen, they have combined as 70 years of engineering experience. And so District 2's future looks bright with this leadership. They share the same philosophy I do. Our staff, we work for them, they don't work for us. And they're there to support operations and everything that our staff needs to do. So I'd like to thank them for being the leaders they are at the district. So this is our recent House Bill 2 fundings from started 2020. And those, as you can see the amounts, and you can see the locations that the House funds have been going to. As you can see, we've done a good job of really addressing a lot of communities, a lot of highways. And the way we are using the money is very diverse. We're using it in preservation projects, rehabilitation projects, and of course, let projects. I'd like to highlight that US 54 corridor. That's 55 miles between Alamogordo and the state line. And utilizing House bill money, we put a plan for maintenance, preservation, and we've addressed 35 of that 55 miles. And so that highway is going to be in a good shape for a long time, and it's going to save us future dollars. The yellow section there coming out of Roswell, that's design, that's not construction, but House bill allowed us to design that corridor. So when projects and funding became available, we're ready to go, and that's exactly what happened with this bonding package. So we have 2 projects, and I'll highlight that in a little bit. And then up in that corner, in 2021, we received $28 million. $21 million went to the city of Clovis, their downtown reconstruction project. If it wasn't for this funding, we wouldn't be in construction right now. It would barely be starting. So this funding allows us to expedite a lot of projects. So I'd like to thank the legislature and their partnerships with DOT to pass House bill funding. This is our 2025 fiscal year local government road fund. Over $8 billion through our various programs, the MAP, the CAPS, all those that you see there. As you can see, we try to do a good job in spreading the funding to all these small communities, big communities, so they could take advantage of this local government program. The Transportation Project Fund, by far, this is one of the best programs the state has ever passed in addressing local needs. These are the last 3 years, 23, 24, and 25. You can see the amounts. Definitely, there's a lot of applicants in each year. We average 44 applicants a year. We've been able to award 9 in 25, 9 in 24, and 14 were awarded in 23. So that additional money, like we're receiving this year, it's going to boost that fund, and it's great to help 5 more communities. Highlight a couple there. As you can see, some of the good work this funding is doing. That's the bottom corner is Gel, New Mexico. They were able to reconstruct one of their main streets, runs adjacent to a school. And so now the high school and those schools there have new sidewalks for the kids to walk. Above is Mescalero, one of their main projects. They started utilizing TP fund for design and now it turned into construction, and you can see how great that project looks up there. And we had a ribbon cutting with Mescalero Apache Tribe. So, and we're very proud of them. What we love about this, the way we do it in District 2 through the RTPOs, is we allocate the funding 40%. Whatever we receive annually is 40% for capital improvements, 40% for maintenance, and 20% for design. And that way, we're able to get more bang for the buck, and the communities really enjoy the way we're allocating the money and making that decision. Trainings in District 2, trainings they're super important to what we do. Every day we're looking to improve. And so there's our full list of training this year. But I really would like to highlight a couple that stood out to me this year. Number one, I serve on the Labor Management Committee, and we meet with the union leadership quarterly. And one thing that was identified was we had personnel out there in the field that was never trained in flagging, never certified. And so from that committee, we had an action plan, and we started doing in-house flaggers training. We do it now in orientation, so every new employee has that training. And so at that time, our risk management got best practice, and I see more and more districts are doing it. And I'm glad to see that we're not having people out there without that certification. As you talked about, Chairman, maintenance patrols could be called at any time, 2 a.m. Essentially, we are first responders. Sometimes we're the first ones on the scene. And so we do interact with law enforcement and emergency response. And a lot of times you'll see those helicopters show up on site. So we did some training to keep our employees safe, as those helicopters show up on those scenes. So that was a really cool training we put our staff through. But that's our overall training that we've done this year. As district engineer, one thing that is important to me, when I started, I went and talked to every crew, and the recurring theme was two, from construction, maintenance, support. I asked them a lot of questions and to see where we needed to take the district. Two things that kept recurring is like we don't feel supported by upper management, and we don't get acknowledgement. And I didn't like that. So we've really focused on those two, especially the acknowledgement. And so here, the next few slides are employee engagement activities. And so the one I want to highlight is, of course, our service awards. And so we put that on, had some great swag, had a great venue. Secretary Stern came up, said some great words. Remind me of the old days when leadership would come down. It meant a lot to our District 2 staff. We had some great pictures, as you can see. We had old crew pictures, great projects, and everybody that was getting an award, we had their original badge picture. And so some were really young, and so it was pretty cool. As you can see right there, that's one of our AMSs when he started. He didn't start as young as some, but where's Greg? Stand up, look at him now. So he's aged. He's aged a little bit, but he's still doing a heck of a job. But even some of our pictures, mine, you look back at your batch picture and you didn't realize how young you were when you started with DOT. So I thought that was really cool. Candace. When I started, I had a full head of hair too. We're gonna bring your badge picture to the next commission meeting.
I haven't owned a Coleman in about 10 years. You guys played a song from the year they were born too, right?
The year they're, so if they're a 5-year employee, so we played a year where the number one song was the 5 years they were walking up the stage, 10, 20, all the way to 30 years. So I thought that was really cool too.
I started out with Coleman.
You still got it.
So one thing we're proud of is, whether it's a routine accomplishment or some major accomplishments, we acknowledge it. And so these are just some of our acknowledgments, engagement activities we've done. Of course, we have our rodeo. You can see that our participants up there. Of course, we love to bring in the kids, employees' kids. That's our door decorating and trick or treat that we had at the office, our Christmas party. Up there is our breakfast. We acknowledge the risk management for best practice. And the two that really meant a lot to me as we did was the two in the middle and the upper right. That was our appreciation luncheons for our crews after the flooding. And so they're up late nights cleaning the roads. So that's the Roswell flood up there. That's all our crews. I want to thank Roswell Patrol. It was a tough couple of days for them, staying up late nights, but they took care of business and they protected the public. In the meadows, we're acknowledging the crews that took care of the flooding in the Ruidoso area. So Hondo, Chularosa, Capitan, our heavy maintenance, our bridge crew. So what I really love about that picture is, when I grew up, my grandpa and my grandpa on my father's side and on my mother's side, one was in agriculture, one built houses, construction. They didn't make a lot of money, and so when it came for gratitude or special events in our family, the way we showed love is cooking, and that's what my grandparents did. So it means a lot. Chip Seal, they take pride in their cooking, so they actually let me cook on their disco, and so that's pretty. You usually don't touch another man's disco, so I was honored that they let me cook for them for the floods in the Ruidoso area. There's kind of our full list, commissioners, of our employment engagement activities for this year. I'd like to highlight, this is one of our another acknowledgement lunches we recently had. 4 years ago, District 2 had not won the Quality Chips Award in decades. And so, one of the crew members did promise me, because I said, I have a few years left. And they said, I guarantee we're going to get one of the awards. And, I was like, okay. They were improving, very proud of them. And sure enough, the year before we won 2023 Chip Seal Quality Award, and we went back to back. And so this is our luncheon acknowledgement then, acknowledging that crew. There's our sign that will go out in 220. I did have them sign it, so they'll be part of that road. I know I'm very proud of the highways I design, and when I drive them, I feel like I was a small part of that. And so I want to make sure as they drive by, they're proud of that accomplishment. So,
we started a traveling trophy.
Right.
And so if they win it one more year, they get to keep it.
Really?
Yeah, it's 3 years. And they can keep the trophy. And we made it like that as an incentive to be consistent and to come back. But we created a traveling trophy named the Ray Lopez Traveling Trophy, who was a supervisor for Chip Seal. And so if you guys, I don't know, I haven't seen it. What is it like a?
Oh yeah, it's a big trophy, probably. At least that. Beautiful.
So if they win it one more year, they get to keep it, and then we'll get another one. Wow. And back in the day, just so that you know, with you chip sealers, Ray Lopez had a hand about that. He had big hands like that. And I went out there one day, I've told this story, and I asked him what he was doing because he was touching the mat. And he said, I'm waiting for temperature. And I said, well, how do you know when it's temperature? He goes, I know. So the next day I went and I got him a thermometer gun. I said, we're not doing the hand anymore.
So, I'm extremely proud of this group, just the improvement they've had through this last 4 years. Awards are nice, but it means more than that. It means they care about their job, they care about each other, and, they're doing a good job for the state. So congratulations.
And just so people know, Chip Seal is a preventive maintenance, and that's what we do in rural. A lot of our roads in rural New Mexico are kept together by the Chip Seal crews, and those are our crews. And they're crews in a program that if it wasn't for them, we'd lose a lot of roads because we just don't have the monies to go out and hire a contractor.
They're such a big part of what we do. The amount of funding we receive, we really couldn't do what we do holding our roads together without these crews. I think there's a video.
Yes, Commissioner. I haven't seen it, but he says it's a big one.
I had it last year in the presentation. It's pretty cool. It's got columns. We have it in a glass up front to display for people coming in. So we have it unlocked right now. So I think I'm just gonna lock it because we're gonna win it again.
If you guys don't win, we're gonna break the class and take it. So keep it.
Oh, I thought there was a video there. One big thing for district engagement is not only putting on events and appreciation luncheons, is listening to staff. And so, we're big on facility improvements, better working conditions. Last year I highlighted some salt domes we built for the patrols, a new project office for Carrizozo. This year we focus on our district building. As you can see, above is before and that's after. It looks great. And there's an office there. You can see how great that looks in the left corner. I don't know if you've been to District 2, wood paneling. It reminded me of some of the houses I grew up, so it's great to see that new look.
That reminds me of my house right here.
Yeah. And right now we're constructing some safety lanes on 62 180 and Magnum. As we're all aware of, Southeast New Mexico and the oil and gas industry, the traffic is just jumped like crazy. And this is turn lane. At one time, it was real easy to turn in and out of the patrol. Not so much anymore. And so employees didn't feel safe turning into the patrol. Unfortunately, an employee, our project manager, John Lara, was in an accident coming across and was injured pretty bad. He's making a comeback. I saw him the other day. He looked great. Hopefully he can come back to being a project manager. But, we said no more. We can't have anybody getting hurt on that road. So we're constructing some safety lanes so it'll be better for the patrol and our construction office personnel to get in and out of that area. Local government collaboration. The bottom is we partnered with the city of Carlsbad, Eddy County, and us. They constructed a new loop, and they really need a signal there. And so to expedite the project and move it up in the STIP, we partnered together and we shared costs, a third of that 2.3, and it was able to move that up and get that built before that loop was completed. That way the public could get through there safely. Of course, a big collaboration, as you heard Mayor Lynn Crawford talked about, our partnerships in the village. As you can see, that was a critical bridge, Malone Bridge, that provides access to critical parts of Ruidoso. It burnt, as you can see. So our bridge crew and our bridge engineer has been working with their leadership in public work to help them get bridges in service. And we also took this on and constructed this bridge because it was so critical for access. And you can see the beautiful work that our bridge crew did on that structure. So, our local collaboration, that bridge was a huge for the community. We're very proud of it. Our Employee of the Year 2024 is Jonathan Graham. He's a Highway Maintainer 3, not advanced. I know we changed it, but he's also the lead man, and he's really stepped up on that crew, doing quantities, planning, leading that crew, and he was a big part of those bridges. The whole crew did a great job, but he was a true leader, and he's our Employee of the Year. Great temperament. I never see him get mad under pressure. No matter the situation, he's as cool as a cucumber. And, when I get stressed around situations and I'm out there with the bridge crew and Jonathan comes around, he actually calms me down because he's such a cool customer. So just want to congratulate him for being 2024 Employee of the Year.
Really kind of shocked. I don't think what I do is anything special, and getting Employee of the Month was kind of, oh, okay, cool. And then when they called me the other day to let me know, it was really kind of a shock because I just kind of do my job and help everybody out where I can, and they help me where I can. It's not just me by myself, it's the whole guys. Everybody works together, and I don't know if I just did something extra to be in the spotlight for it or what happened, but I'm kind of surprised about it. Well, I'll show up and I'll start on my paperwork or whatever I've got to do and get it done as soon as possible. And then I'm not going to try to hide here in the office. I want to get out in the field and help the guys where I can and just not sit still. I've never been that kind of person. I want to get the job done, get it out of the way, and move on to the next thing. I think it kind of gives them something to look up to and to see where you can go if you work hard and where the rewards actually lay, that things don't go unnoticed, that there's a reward at the end of the tunnel or a light at the end of the tunnel, I guess.
So once again, congratulations to Jonathan. District 2 construction. So I'd like to highlight a couple of completed projects and what they meant for those communities. This is the downtown Loving project. As you can see, this is our final phase of our US 285 corridor project that starts at the state line, goes all the way through Loving, and finishes at mile marker 21.9. As you can see, we expanded the highway, made it a 4-lane, worked with the community on their access needs. The communities, small communities, they're almost acting like big cities. The congestion down there, and that was a big part of this project. We had to install a signal on their main road crossing the highway. I don't know if this story is true or not, but during project development, I walking the town, just, as we were doing our preliminary field review, I walked in also, I was just talking to the customers and asking them about that, but I'm talking to the staff there, and he said, our managers are in Hawaii right now. I'm like, Hawaii? He's like, this Allsup sells the most ice of any Allsups in the whole nation, or their whole group in Southeast. That I believe, but they got a bonus for their ice selling. So that was, so that, you can tell that's kind of congestion they're having. But what this project also means to me, this was personal, this corridor. We do a lot of public meetings, and you hear families talk about the tragedy that happens on these corridors. This used to be the most dangerous corridor in District 2, and we had a public meeting, and we hear their stories. And then one lady, she had a story. Her son, lost his life on this highway, and she was at the public meeting. And she goes, "It's been, 300 days, 28 hours, 50 seconds since I lost my son." And but it just wasn't somebody from the public. It was my mom's best friend. They lost their kid on that corridor, and now we've made these major improvements. We have alternating passing lanes, and we expanded that section to 4-lane. And so far, I haven't heard of any fatalities, and that's why I'm proud to always work for an NDOT, because this is what we do. We're about to finish up downtown Loving. This is another urban project. Major drainage issues. Southeast New Mexico is flat, and so we pretty good storm drain system we put. Rebuilt the highway. The pavement was total failure. Alligator. We love working with this community. They're engaged. They're active. They showed up every weekly project meetings. Utilities was big on this. That added a little delays. Anytime you deal with these utilities in older towns, you're going to run into stuff you don't find. But our staff worked to do that. We presented every month at their council meeting with updates. One thing that Southeast loves is parades. You don't mess with parades. So we were able to shut down their job for the annual parade. We did adjustments in traffic control, shortening phases so businesses have better access. And Lovington let us use some of their side streets as detours, and that also helped the community and their businesses as we built that project. So that was about to be completed here shortly. Ongoing, this is our Clovis downtown. As you can see, $42 million investment, 500 working days. That's a long time to impact the community, but this project was needed. Mainly their drainage. When it rained there, we'd had to shut down the highway. As you can see, the detention pond we're building, how deep that is, the size of that storm drain, and it's going to be concrete pavement to deal with their conditions there. We're looking forward to completing that and delivering that to downtown Clovis. And in a couple of years, we'll be going out to the final phase to complete their full downtown. So great project and great impact to that community. Just a full list of our ongoing projects in District 2. As you see, $238 million. So it's quite a bit of investment and work we have going on in District 2. And as we spoke earlier, we acknowledged Tularosa crew. They're a big part of that Loving project, and once again, I want to thank them for their dedication and sacrifice for being relocated for that amount of time.
there's a lot that goes into what we do every day, dealing with the contractor, dealing with quantities, our estimates. Sometimes we have change orders and stuff that we have to do with contractors. So there is a lot of paperwork that's involved in it. And these guys staying late, working late hours with the contractor, and we work when they work. So that's what makes it a little more difficult. So we work holidays, weekends. Up on the track on the hill, we worked 7 days a week, and we did that for a little more than a month. So it was a big job. So this is going to be great for all of our people. This is nice to be nominated for this and actually getting it. We see it a lot from the other ones, and some of us get Employee of the Month or Supervisor of the Year, and we've had that before. But for the whole year, this is awesome. What's helped us is all of us coming together as a team. Our communication is like second to none. Everybody's all on the same page. And I think that's what helped us. It was a teamwork. I have nothing but good to say about them. They're all good. We would make it a family atmosphere because we're so much involved in day-to-day activities with each other. If someone's having a bad day, we try to lift them up and say, hey, how can we help you out? Or, we've had some of our employees that they've lost everything in flooding or fire, up on the mountain. And we've helped out, we've helped out tremendously. And that's what brings the DOT together is we're a family. We help out when others are in need.
Talk about our engineering support department, and their main role is project development, delivering those projects that we have in the STIP. And so we'd like to highlight a couple of our priorities that we're doing in District 2. Right here is our full list of our upcoming LETs for 26-27. As you can see, that's a great amount of investment, 291. So we're looking forward to delivering those projects to District 2 in Southeast New Mexico. So definitely our number one priority, as you heard Andrew, is New Mexico 128. Just number one, safety. The amount of heavy commercial vehicles in that road. There's a great team on it from WSP, our internal District 2 team, South Region, all coming together to really focus on this area and take the funding we're receiving and try to be as efficient as possible to deliver what we need out there. So this is a map of the corridor. We're about to let the phase 1 City of Jail. And so that's through their city. Going to be 2 coordinated signals, which is really, when you think about it, this town's on 2000 and we're putting in coordinated signals. So you kind of see the traffic they're dealing with. We're going to go ahead and let the phase 2. And so this whole corridor investment, it needs to be redone. The 31, 128, it's $450 million. That's what it would take to bring this up to where it needs to be. Right now we have 152 million for that corridor. And so we felt the best way to really address this and the safety and plan for the future phases is this is a representative. And so this is what we're planning on the major intersections. As you saw, phase 1 has a bunch of major intersections, phase 2. And so we're going to do these major intersection improvements and then 4-lane it out. And so when we get new money or additional funding or future funding, we're able to rebuild the middle 4 lanes. Majority of the accidents are happening at these major intersections. And so it is an issue that needs to be addressed. So that's our plan for 128. One of the intersections that we are improving is called Orla. It's unbelievable that that intersection coming from a county road has over 5,000 cars approaching 128. And this is in the middle of nowhere and just something we've never seen. And so this is our plan to really, address the oil and gas, safety issues that are happening and also promote economics to help them reduce delays out there in that industry. Upcoming, our number 2 priority for District 2 is the US 380 corridor. And so right now we've let 2 jobs, the red and the green are 2 priorities. And they're right now, they've been let, they're about to start construction. So we're excited for that. We're looking forward to, getting that full corridor done. So I know Joe was here, asked about maintenance through Tatum. That is one of the phases. And then outside of Tatum is also a phase. So right now we'll go look at the milepost chairmen, see if those are not there. But our maintenance engineer and crew are aware of those issues, and wherever these projects are not, or the phases that we're building are not, they're going to address those other areas with maintenance treatments. So. District 2 maintenance, of course, this is our biggest sector of employees. These are the guys you see out there, first to be out there. And so I think what represents, they do a tremendous job in their activities. That middle picture, we had a heck of a snowstorm, 3-day in the Clovis, Portales area, really tough. Have so much respect for what they do. And just look at that picture. We had everything out there, 10-yarders, blades, trying to fight that storm. And just look at that view and how tough that is, and have so much respect for those men and women that get in our equipment and go out at night and have to deal with that kind of condition right there. So just some accomplishments for FY25. As you can see, it's just kind of our totals for some of our major maintenance activities. One thing I'm proud of is you can see our fog seal. We're really looking to put in a preservation program that we can enhance year and year. And so we've done a lot of fog sealing for pavement preservation, and we're really proud of how many lane miles we accomplished this year. And it's been a pretty good heavy snowstorm, as you see, over $1 million in labor, equipment, and materials, and so 68,000 pass miles. So, this is our accomplishments for FY25. Contract maintenance. This is a combination of the money we received through House Bill this last year and in our routine contract maintenance budget we have. So we've addressed areas all over District 2, different treatments, whether it's milling inlays, hot recycling, plant wear mix. So we're trying to use the funds we've received in both pots of money as best we can to address as many communities and as many areas within District 2. New Mexico 532, I'd like to highlight this maintenance project that was put together, after the floods. As Mayor Crawford talked about, the economic impact for the racetrack. This road leads to the ski area. Major flooding, as you can see, the road, half of it was washed out. We were afraid another storm, that road was going to be washed out. The community was very nervous. If we lost that road, they were going to lose the ski season, and at that time, that couldn't happen. What they were struggling with the flooding and fire. So we came together, maintenance, technical support, our bridge crew, various crews, our heavy maintenance. We all came together and they did this wonderful project, brought in concrete wall barrier, reinforced it with flow fill. Look at that great paving job they did, and we opened up Ski Run Road. And so I learned a lot on this road. Of course, there was a lot of technical expertise from our engineers, Michael Smelker. But one thing I learned when you're dealing with maintenance, sometimes I would go out there and I think we need to do this. What you need to do that? And they're like, what do you think? And they're like, I think we should do it like this. And I was like, just go to it, because they know what they're doing. So really proud of what they did for the community. So I want to thank those crews for that job. Of course, we've honored the Best Patrol bond, and so I know they have a little video.
Makes me feel really good, and my heart is happy because it's all about my guys. They're the ones that are doing their thing, We're trying to keep everybody safe. Of course, we got to take care of our equipment because we have nice equipment. We want to take care of it. Just my guys. We try to do from A to Z whatever we can all the time, not just part-time, you know what I mean? All the time. I think it's the teamwork and the camaraderie. We all respect each other. We all work together. If we have issues, we try to squash them here at the patrol. And they all work hard, They put in an honest day's work. Work ethic is a strong part of the winning the best patrol, because if you don't have the work ethic and know your rights and wrongs and your tasks that are at hand, it's hard to get to this level of best patrol. I just want to give kudos to the guys, you know what I mean? Because it's not me, it's them, you know what I mean, that get us this honor. And I do consider it an honor because we, like you said, we've been here a couple of times. And it's these guys' teamwork and hard work that make it happen, you know. But we come in and we explain everything to everybody, and we try to get everything done as fast as we can so everybody's on the same page as a family, you know. We do consider ourselves a little family, you know. We spend more time with each other than we do at home.
Our 2024 Employee of the Year, or Supervisor of the Year, excuse me, is Paul Beebe. Paul, he's got a tough area. He supervises the jail patrol, one of the highest vacancy patrols we have. And sometimes he's a one-man team, two-man team. We hire employees, we get to 3 or 4, and then we lose them. And no matter what, he's there. He goes on call-outs, 2 in the morning. He's out there every day. Have so much respect what he's dealing with, and he definitely deserves Supervisor of the Year of what he's done for that jail area with really himself and a couple others. So very proud of what Paul's done down there in Southeast New Mexico.
First of all, I didn't know anything about it. I don't know why I got the Supervisor of the Year. I'm hoping y'all will tell me for what it was for. But anyways, I'm glad, and I'm happy that I got it. And all the people that work around me should be happy, because it's them that done it, not me. This place is unique. It's challenging. It's a challenge to get anything done. We don't have the people to really do all the work that we need to do. Responding to an accident is pretty much a daily occurrence. Fixing fence and setting up stop signs that constantly are getting smoked. These trucks bring in lots of stuff. They bring in the rubber. The amount of rubber that these trucks leave behind is unreal. We're constantly picking it up, and it's got to make its way to Roswell somehow. And the sand that leaks out of them is a big hazard. It's going all over the highway and going all over the cars. They bring nothing but hazards. No splashing, dashing on the potholes and stuff like that. So it just takes time. Everything is so much slower here. It does a lot for our morale. We hope the right people see this video. And I'd like to say, and Rex would like to say, thank you to all the patrols that come down here and help us work, that we call Tatum, Hobbs, Carlsbad, Talis, Clovis, all you guys. If it wasn't for you guys, then I wouldn't be getting this. Plain and simple.
I'd like to complete this presentation with what our communities have dealt with lately, but what the spirit of DOT is. Recently, Roswell and Chaves County had it was a 500-year storm, and Roswell was hit hard. A lot of people lost their homes. We had 5 employees lose their homes, and they're rebuilding it. But you can see how tough it is when your home is lost. And so our employees are back, and so they had a tough time, but the communities did too as well. One structure that was damaged and was a big part of Southeast New Mexico's economics is the Rio Feliz Bridge that is between Artesia and Roswell. US 285 between Roswell and Artesia is a commuter highway for the oil and gas industry. A lot of people live in Roswell, but they commute to the oil patch. And so this bridge went down during the floods. As you can see, the damage it did to the abutment supports, the sleeper slab, the approach, it was damaged there. And so we thought this bridge was going to be out for a long time. But our staff, this is a total DOT come together to deliver and get this structure back in service. Technical support came together, maintenance, construction, and we were able to get the southbound lanes open. We're still working on the northbound, but now we're able to cross traffic over and continue to have 285 open. Like I said, we thought it was gonna be down. Our staff was able to get one side open within a month. And this was very important because all traffic was going through a local road, a small state highway, really impacting small communities like Dexter, Lake Arthur, Hagerman. And so when we got this back up, it made a big difference to Southeast New Mexico. And proud of this, all the work they've done, because like I said, it's the spirit of DOT as we come together. We're not construction, we're not maintenance, we're not technical support, we're DOT. And this is what this meant for District 2 this year. And hopefully we'll complete this in the next few months and get that bridge fully open. So Chairman, go ahead.
I just want
Chairman.
to say that I keep saying that our crews and our employees, period, at DOT are special. And the one thing that you never hear, I never heard it, and I've been here almost 50 years.
Yeah.
When they're asked to do something, I've never heard them say, it's not in my job description. You hear other people say that. I wasn't hired, it's not in my job. They do things above and beyond, and they do it because they care, and they do it because they make a difference. And I just want to say, with all the catastrophes you had, I want to give a big shout out to the governor, as the governor has been nothing but supportive. When we had our catastrophes down in the north, up in Vegas, Mora, and all those areas, she made sure that they had fuel, that they had resources, that people were down there giving whatever support they need, and I know that thing happened up here. So big kudos to her because she cares. She has a big heart, just like everyone in here. So, is there any comments, questions, fellow commissioner? Commissioner Taylor.
Yeah, I'm curious about the Reno air races and what impact that's going to the district.
So it is going to have an impact. You know, they're anticipating how the number is huge. The economic impact alone is supposed to be $150 million. And so one of the major roads that's going to impact is 380. So we're going to see a lot of traffic coming there. So we need to look at what we need to do there, you know, with messaging so people can travel that safe, especially if it's going to be under construction. So that's kind of the major impact. Of course, you know, the commissioners passed the grant award with the bar last, you know, given the, what was it, $5 million secretary to do their improvements on their tarmac. And that's going to go a long way in making that event great.
I was a regular at Reno.
Oh, are you?
Yeah. And yeah, that's a big impact.
Yeah. So of course, we're also excited. We're excited. We want to be successful. If you don't know what those races are, it's kind of NASCAR with planes, correct, Commissioner? And so it's pretty cool. So,
Commissioner Tonjes.
Mr. Chair, thank you. I just want to say I think Francisco is just an outstanding leader. Very much appreciate what you and the entire team, those that you've assembled, the crews that have been there for a long time. It's a very large district, quite diverse, and no shortage of extraordinary challenges that you and your team have taken on. We talked quite a bit. We've talked quite a bit about the floods and what has transpired there. I got to see some of that firsthand, you know, watching your crews go out after the floods hitting Ruidoso and Ruidoso Downs, and unbelievable how they were able to tackle that. And beyond that, you know, I look at how DOT has come together in support, doing everything they can for the track as well. You look at Ruidoso Downs racetrack, it's not just critical for the future of Ruidoso, but the benefit is extraordinary throughout Southeast New Mexico for communities and businesses. And, you know, I know from the governor on down, there's been a dedication there, which I greatly appreciate. And I know that the community, the mayor and Ron and everybody does. You know, there are these incredible needs throughout the state, clearly within the district as well. No news to anybody here. More money is needed to be able to meet all of the demands, all of the needs. Want to thank you, Francisco, everybody on your team for their outstanding work. Thank you.
So, Chairman Adams, Commissioner, you stand for any additional questions, or if you need further information on anything I would discuss today, you know, I can send you an email or answer the best I can. So before I conclude, Chairman Adams, just want to thank all the staff that made it down here. And then for those that are watching on camera, you know, thank you. You know, it's an honor to be your leader. But like I always say, you know, you're the foundation that holds us. And just want to thank you for everything you do for District 2 in Southeast New Mexico.
Let's give District 2 a great hand.
They got the chip seal
Wanna make sure they
chip
can
seal
see.
video.
Okay. Yeah, if you wanna get them, just.
Yeah, let's show it. What's up?
Yeah.
The chip seal is kind of the best and most cost-effective way to put a layer on top of existing roadway, and it adds about 5-6 years to the life of the roadway. It's really important for us to win the chip seal of the year because, like I said, man, it's an honor because the competition is so hard, so intense. I mean, everybody does a really good job, so to actually be able to win, it's an honor. I don't think much separates us at all, really tell you the truth. I think it's all really a close competition. Every district does such a good job, so the fact that we were able to pull it off 2 years in a row, it really shows in how much pride and how hard we're trying to do the best we can. Anybody could win at any of the districts, so we're super proud to do it once and even much more twice. I think the win is kind of good for morale. You know, it's really good for our camaraderie, for our guys, and having pride in what they do. It's like one big happy family. It's not just within our district, but from us to all the other chip seal crews throughout the district. And it's bragging rights. Who don't like bragging rights for our district, for our crews? We're always in contact with all the other districts. And so when things go wrong, we do help each other with ideas and stuff. So while it's a competition, but we're also one big family because it's all within the state.
Now with the chip seal crew, and the other Paul, our supervisor, and the ones that didn't get honored earlier.
Sounds good.
Okay.
You want to do that outside?
Sure. That might be easier.
We're gonna go ahead and continue the meeting, and with that, Secretary, if you're ready to give your report.
Yeah. All right, Mr. Chairman, thank you for that. All right. I want to thank Francisco for his report. Kind of looking back at, all the pictures that he had up here, I realized I spent a lot of time in District 2 over the last year, doing the bridge up to, going up to Ski Run, the bridge south of Roswell after the floods, even the picture of you pushing snow. I think that was the time that Mo almost killed us between Roswell and Bond. Never trust a guy from Las Cruces to drive you around in the snow. That's all I'm going to say about that. But, during the legislature, the newspaper every once in a while will take every day a quote from somebody throughout the legislature, that day, put it in the paper, quote of the day. And I kept capturing some when Francisco was doing his presentation, so I want to recap them because they probably all make the paper. The first one was, and I quote, "Normally you don't touch another man's disco, but they let me." Number 2, "This all sub sells more ice than any other in the nation. They got a bonus." And the third one is, "One thing the Southeast loves is parades. Don't mess with their parades." And so I think he would have made it in the paper 3 different days in a row. Thank you for that. Mr. Chairman, just to talk a little bit, I know we've been recognizing those that have kind of fallen doing the work that this industry does. And so I want to recognize also that a couple weeks ago, District 3 lost their shop supervisor. He was in an automobile accident off duty. His name is Adrian Gonzalez, worked out of the District 3 office, but was, Adrian Garcia. He was the supervisor in the shop there originally from Penasco, and they had all of his services up north. So I want to recognize Adrian for the work that he did, and from what we understand from the staff, he's going to be greatly missed over in District 3, so appreciate you all recognizing him too. I'll start off with some funding news. Last commission meeting, I believe it was last commission meeting, I provided you with a legislative overview and update. Among some of the challenges that we faced, we were informed at that time that an appropriation that we received last year in 2024 in the amount of $320 million was going to be reduced by $93 million. And so that was an unfortunate turn of events that you don't expect, right? After you get money, you think it's there. And so we were planning accordingly. We were provided with a list of 9 eligible projects for which we could use that funding. But just 2 days ago, we learned that we're not going to have to trim that appropriation by $93 million after all. And so we worked very quickly with Dave Quintana, Jolene, and others to identify where we were going to place that $93 million. And so of the 9 projects that were listed in House Bill 2 or Senate Bill 275, actually, we're going to touch all but one of those. So we're going to get over $440 million done with that $320 million after we include federal and state match and non-match obligations from the district. So that's good news. Those bonds will go out for sale in June of this year, and all of those projects will need to be fully obligated and under contract by December of 2025. So it's kind of nice when we see the funding and it comes in a way that really gets us in a place to get them under contract quickly. So that's a good news story. I just want to, especially for any of the locals that are here or listening, we have, it was talked earlier about the TPF and what it does to local governments. Last year, I think we awarded, or you all awarded and approved about $58 million or so of projects, which was helpful. But this year, as I mentioned, the legislature approved an additional, I think it was $38 million. I can't remember the exact number. Nonetheless, we'll be awarding closer to $90 million in projects. We look forward to bringing those proposals to you all. Locals have another couple of weeks to be exact, to get those applications in. As you shared, Mr. Chairman, we did have an incident whereby 2 of our District 4 employees were hit by a driver that ran through traffic control. And, it just brings back to the top, it brings up to the top of the priority list the legislation we introduced last year that didn't make its way out of Senate Judiciary Committee for speed cams and construction zones. These are the stories that we hope kind of nudge and motivate legislators to move in that direction. If you recall the debate that took place in Senate Judiciary, there was just a lot of emphasis on due process for those that violate, the speed limit, And it's really hard as I drove to visit with our two men, one in Las Vegas and one in Santa Fe, the day that happened, for anybody at that point to be thinking, well, is that driver going to be able to challenge the ticket, And so we really just got to spend the next year reminding lawmakers that, our workers and construction workers are at risk every single day. And I understand the balance in law and the need for, due process and violators to have rights, but we got to find that balance. And we're looking at a law that Washington State passed that's very much like ours, the one that we proposed anyway, with some added, I think with some added strength to collecting fees and fines. So we'll keep pushing to make sure that that's a priority, even if it comes up in the next session, it'll have to be on the governor's call as a priority. I want to share that on May 21st next week, I think for the first time in at least 4 years, the general office, the GO, is celebrating their Safety Service Awards, and so it's going to be a big event because we are going back in time to recognize a number of individuals for their safe performance on the job, for their years of service with the agency, and of course a number of retirees over that period of time. And so I want to thank Isabel Sharp, who's helping to coordinate all of this out of Jerry's division. So it's going to be a really good event. We hope that you can join us on the 21st in Santa Fe. It starts at noon and goes till 3 o'clock on the 21st, and help us to catch up on our responsibility to recognize employees for their retirements, their safety, and their service to the agency. I do want to share that you may recall about a couple years ago, the Department of Transportation became the first state agency to give all of its employees a longevity bonus at the end of the calendar year for their milestones of service, starting with 2 years, 5 years, 10, 15, so on and so forth. And so during the past legislative session, the state of New Mexico and the labor organizations that represent state employees, CWA and AFSCME, they've negotiated a longevity pay plan for all state workers in the executive branch agencies. So that agreement does supersede DOT's agreement, and so I want to thank Jessica in particular, for helping to get DOT, in a place that, amplified our commitment to service, continuous years of service, by starting that program. And I think it really did create the discussion or ignite the discussion with the union and the state of New Mexico to say, hey, we think all state employees should get this kind of recognition and monetary reward for their continuous years of service. So DOT will no longer be the only agency that provides longevity bonus or longevity pay to their workers. All state agencies will now do that. So I just wanted to share with you all, because we've noticed to all employees that as a result of that new pay plan beginning effective date July 1, we won't be issuing our one-time payments any further. The next one would have been December. So just bringing that to your attention. We're going to be working with a subcommittee to the Legislative Finance Committee. The Legislative Finance Committee has established a subcommittee of legislators are going to be working specifically on identifying what potential revenue cuts may be coming by way of the federal budget that's due at the end of September. And so we've already been asked for some information, essentially identifying where there may be exposure for DOT in terms of federal budget cuts. We don't see a lot of risk and liability there outside of some federal grant awards that we're waiting to execute agreements on. And so we're working on identifying, what those high-risk funding cuts might look like to us. Fundamentally, we want to be really calculated, I think, as an executive branch about how we measure what these funding cuts are, because it can be everything from, we don't think there's any exposure to $700 million a year. That's what DOT could almost say. And we don't want to create a sky is falling kind of climate, but we do want to talk pointedly about the reauthorization of Surface Transportation Bill and of course, how difficult it is to function on unpredictability with grant funding. And right now, we do have several $1 million of grant awards that haven't been fully executed yet. I do want to share that after a lot of work, we have developed a pipeline training program with Central New Mexico Community College. And right now we're working tirelessly to try and get 11 positions filled. GEL is one of the locations actually that's hard to fill that we're looking to utilize this training program to get vacancies filled. We've developed with them a 10-week training. Everyone who goes through it will come out certified in heavy equipment, CDL certified, OSHA training, and flagger certification. And so the plan is we interview these individuals, we officially hire them, we send them to the training, they're getting paid to be there, and that offer is contingent, their offer for continued employment is contingent on their successful completion of the program. And so we're excited about that, and we have some capacity for that training program. So we talked with Jim Garcia at ACNM, and we'll fill the remaining slots with participants who will then be placed with contractors, either as part of ACNM, and we're going to do likewise, we expect, with the Permian Strategic Partnership contractors down in District 2. And so we feel like that makes sense because if we help them find workers, they'll stop stealing Francisco's, and everyone will be happy. Just a reminder that the month of May is Motorcycle Awareness Month, so we're working on campaigns around really just being aware that motorcyclists are out on our roadways, and that they, of course, are part of the philosophy that we've just got to share our roads. And so I'm going to shout out to the comms team. They'll be working on that. In general, we're working on really trying to develop some campaigns that we presently, don't launch on a year-to-year basis. Some of them include road rage, for example. We often will launch campaigns based on federal funding measures for NDWI campaigns, don't text and drive, things like that. But we really want to push in some other areas that we're starting to see, the data, suggesting we need to address, like road rage and even still wearing seatbelts. And so I look forward to being able to share updates on how we understand what it's going to take to keep people from, really, exhibiting behavior and rage on the road that has resulted in a lot of accidents and deaths in the state of New Mexico. I do want to share too that we're actively working on our statewide role in the governor's implementation of a zero emission state fleet by 2035. DOT's fleet rivals, if not shadows, the fleet that the General Services Division manages for the rest of the state of New Mexico executive agencies. And so we've taken on the role of helping execute that executive order and helping all state agencies convert their gas combustion engine vehicles to zero emission vehicles. And so we're working on a swath of vehicles now whose mileage is reaching end of life across probably 12 executive agencies. Several of those vehicles are ours. And so in the coming months, we'll be working with districts and patrols to essentially convert their fleets from gas engines to electric vehicles and bringing to their patrols and district offices the charging infrastructure to support that transition and conversion. A couple other things. Redistribution is coming up. For those of you that aren't aware of what federal redistribution is, fundamentally, states who are successful in obligating all of their formulaic contract authority throughout the federal budget cycle are eligible to kind of take a bite at federal funding that hasn't been obligated up until that point. So we consider it a reward measure for getting our funding obligated timely. We do have to come up with the contract authority and the match to get redistribution. So this year we'll be looking at securing $60 million in federal redistribution, which will cost us about $10 million in non-federal match. And what we'll do is we'll have to obligate that funding in very short order. So we'll be working at shelved projects throughout the state that are ready to basically get out the door as quickly as possible. So we'll share an update on what projects they are there. And then lastly, which is an obvious focus for us, given all of the announcements that have been made today, is there's been a great big push for us to ensure that our patrols are functioning on our roads under the safety of proper traffic control. And so going back over the last several months, we've been ensuring that our district engineers, our ADEs for maintenance, our patrol supervisors, and AMSs are adamant that every time we're out on our roads that we take the time and energy to ensure our men and women are safe behind proper traffic control. And Mo, as Deputy Secretary Mobed, has made a tremendous point about this. Is not just about our safety, but it really is about capturing what the true cost is of doing business in road maintenance. Everything from guardrail repair to cable barrier repair, pothole patching, you name it. We can claim that it's really cheap when you send 2 men out with 1 truck and a bucket of mix to fill and run out and to fill potholes. That's really cheap, and seemingly it's affordable. We could be doing it all day long. But when we do it right, when we do it right with our work truck, with our shadow truck, with the need for additional attenuators, with the signage, the light up boards, the tapers, everything that's involved, the cost of maintaining our roads goes up exponentially, and we really have to capture and represent that cost, right? Because it's important, but even greater than that is the necessity to ensure that traffic control is done correctly, and when I visited the 2 men who were struck by that vehicle in District 4, I was proud that in my conversations with them while they're still being treated is both of them saying, and we had just finished setting up traffic control. And so to that end, that doesn't mean that keeps them free of danger every single time, but there's peace of mind from them knowing we did the right thing and this isn't our fault, right? And so I want to thank District 4 for, that was a project that they were doing on I-25. So with that, Mr. Chairman, I'll wrap up and answer any
Fellow
questions.
commissioners, Commissioner Taylor. How about signs that say there might be speed camps ahead?
Well, Commissioner Taylor, would that work for you?
You never know.
We actually,
Fines are $5,000, something like that.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner, we actually are, one of the ideas that Denise Peralta has proposed has been some infrastructure that actually starts to capture data about speeding, and they could present themselves as speed cams, right? Even though we're not going to be issuing citations, we'll be capturing the data on traffic speeds in work zones, and that might help us, 1, to slow traffic down, but 2, to capture enough information that would support the need for speed cams in construction zones. So it's kind of in that area, but it would present itself as they're catching my speeds, right? Maybe they're also catching my license plate and they're going to issue me a citation.
Commissioner Tonjes, did you have a question? No, sir. Okay. And just so everybody knows, we tried to push the speed cams this last legislative session, and they felt it would be too much trouble to be tracking people. We felt it would be a great tool in work zones to slow everybody down. I always use La Bajada because I passed through there a lot, and nobody was slowing down. In fact, if you were going the 55 that it asked you to slow down to, everybody was on your tail and honking and stuff. And we got to do whatever we can to make it safe for our employees. I mean, at the end of the day, like I said, their life means everything. Another thing I wanted to say is on the local government road fund, make sure all the districts are offering all the support they can to entities, villages, to the cities, to the counties, because from my experience, there's a big turnover in all those areas, and some county managers come on board or commissioners, they're not aware that there's a local government road fund. The local government road fund, for the ones that don't know, is money that's specified for city projects, county projects, villages, towns, whatever. It's specific for that. So every community has a chance to apply for funds that they normally don't have. And for example, in District 4, we give big support. We have meetings. I'm part of them. I want to make sure that we're doing everything that we're supposed to do to notify them. We've done so many projects up there that they couldn't do, and they're very appreciative of it. So, but there's just some people that won't apply because they don't know how. So just make sure that we're we're supplying that. Thirdly, I want to, on we started up these recognition awards again for service awards. Yeah, it had gone, we had them for years, and then they stopped during COVID. And so we just got them revitalized. And I would ask that each district stay within their budget, stay within the policies, stay within your thing, but be innovative on what you give your employees to appreciate them. I'm telling you, as an employee that was there for 42 years, I could give you a drawer full of letter openers. I never appreciated getting a letter opener. I wouldn't even go to the service awards anymore. So let's do our best with our budgets and what we're allowed to do within that parameter to give them something that they can take home and use and enjoy. And you know, I would rather have had a coffee mug than a letter opener. I don't even open letters. My wife opens them all, so I never used it. And lastly, I would encourage all the districts again, as I'm traveling all over, make sure that we're vigilant on road patrol. You know, that was huge when I was back in there. I'm sure John was too. And road patrol, where you have your supervisors going out, or your advance going out, or your staff, whoever it is, and look for fallen signs, look for broken fence, look for all the stuff that you know you need to look at. As the secretary said, the guardrail, that's very visible, but it's not visible on some of the rural roads. And we have so many roads that we don't get to some of them. So stay vigilant on that road patrol, so that we're keeping these roads as safe. And again, with that, is there any other questions? Okay, with that, we'll move on to our Mallory, our finance person that always has great news for us. And a joke.
And a joke. Good morning, Chairman and Commissioners. How's everyone? All right, guys, ready? What do you call an argument between two electric companies? A power struggle. Alrighty, I'm here to present our financial position as of May 1st. What you have on the screen right now is our state road fund balance. If you look at column E, line number 14 and line number 23, right now our operating budget is at $2.2 billion. Column F, line number 14, we have received $743 million worth of revenue, and we have spent $835 million in expenditures in state road fund. On the next page is our restricted revenue. Column E, line number 23 and 31. This is what our operating budget is, $313 million. We have received revenue of $105.7 million, and we have spent $96 million in expenditures and restricted revenue. This next page is our cash balance. This looks at where we were at in 2024, in April of 2024, and we compare it to today. The first line is the state road fund. You had, in 2024, we had $288.5 million. And on April 30th of this year, we were at $343.1 million. That's an increase of $54.5 million. Our restricted revenue in 2024, we had $169.5 million in cash. And today we have $193.8 million. That's a growth of $24.3 million. And the last status is our fund balance. This shows us what we are projecting to end our savings account at in FY25. So if you look at the last column where it says projected unobligated, the state road fund right now is projecting $52.3 million in fund balance. And then individual, you'll see lines 11 through 24. Those are the restricted revenues, and each have a different amount that we are projecting. So overall, the agency right now is at $45.5 million in savings. And that, Chairman and Commissioners, I stand for any questions.
Mallory, I would ask you, but I know a while back you were a little hesitant with our budget, and I know we had to slow down on a lot of things. And are you pretty comfortable with it now getting to the fiscal year?
So we're currently in a stable financial position. However, we still need to be mindful of our expenditures because I would like to grow our fund balance to be at a healthier rate. Right now, you see $52 million in fund balance. I would like that to be at least 70 million. That just will allow us to do more bars in FY26 and also bring in more savings for FY27. We're currently at the end of fiscal year 25. We will be opening FY26 in July, and then we'll also be working on FY27. So right now, we're working with 3 different fiscal years.
But you're comfortable going in now?
Yeah, it's stable.
Secretary?
Yeah. Yep, raise my hand. Thank you, Chairman. Mallory, talk a little bit about your projections for the change in fund balance from last end of fiscal year to the current end of fiscal year. Looking at April 24 fund balance versus April of 25 fund balance. What is that telling us about what we predict our state road fund balance to look like at the end of this fiscal year?
So the $52.3 million, is that what you're looking at?
Actually, on page, go back a few more. Right there. Okay. So doing a year-to-year state road fund balance in April 24 versus balance in April of 25.
So this isn't in fund balance, this is our cash balance.
Right.
So in 2024, we were at the $288.5 million in cash. That could contribute to a lot of things. Either we weren't receiving as much revenue or we were spending at a lot faster rate than what we are today. So that's why you see an increase of the $54.5 million.
Okay. And so does the current balance in April of 25 suggest that we're likely to have a higher fund balance at the end of the fiscal year?
It can, or we're at the end of the fiscal year, so we might be spending a lot of our encumbrance now. So it just depended.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, fellow commissioners?
All right, thank you.
With that, Mallory, thank you. And that was a pretty good joke. You got a smile out of me on that one. We'll go on now with Rick on action items. Before you start, do we still have Commissioner Chenoweth with us? Okay. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Oh, are you here? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, we're gonna go into action items, so I'm gonna be doing roll call votes, so they'll be calling you out. Thank you.
Okay, terrific. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Chairman, members of this commission. I've been before you before with this same request. This year's a little different, and I think Andrew mentioned it, certainly Francisco mentioned it, and I'll get to that in a little bit, but it is a little different, and we got a lot of work to do this summer with WHIP. So on April the 10th, 2025, the Department of Energy, Carlsbad Field Office requested NMDOT extend the term of use of a temporary negotiated alternate southern WHIP route called the JAL route beyond the termination date of June 30, 2025, established by the STC in resolution number 2024-04 November until June 30 of 26. As justification for continuing use of the JAL route instead of the existing state designated southern WHIP route, which is the US 285 to 62-180 and onto the WHIP facility. DOE CBFO identifies several adverse conditions to WHIP transportation safely, mostly on the Texas side. These conditions include construction projects along 285 corridor. Mr. Francisco Sanchez mentioned where we're at on those projects. We're on the tail end of that, so that's great news for New Mexico. And obviously heavy oil field traffic along US 285 and National Parks Highway. NMDOT recommends the STC extend the term of the JAL route and allow DOE CBFO continue use of the JAL route as a temporary negotiated alternate southern WHIP route until December 31st, 2025, unless terminated earlier by notice. So here's the difference here. As Cisco mentioned, we have the construction of US Highway 128. We have the 3 phases. The first phase, 210-4333, New Mexico 128, that's the City of JAL project. That's going to be let now in June. We're going to have about a 60-day ramp-up period, so we're estimating that project to start in September. That 100% affects or impacts the JAL route, the temporary negotiated alternate route. So this summer, or actually, I apologize, Francisco and I have already met with WHIP and their leadership. We're going to start talking about another alternate route once construction hits and we start impacting traffic. We talked to WHIP, and they are going to work with the city of Hobbs. They're going to have them develop a resolution to allow the shipments to go through Hobbs. We prefer that they do that and not us, so that way that is an agreement between WHIP and the city of Hobbs. And then ultimately we'd come to you probably July, maybe September, and we'd introduce a new alternate route, basically going through Hobbs and 62-180.
So that would be an alternate. The one today would be a temporary.
Yeah, so
we approve the alternate.
That's correct, Mr. Chairman. We'd eliminate this one. We'd introduce a new temporary alternate route with obviously a resolution from the city of Hobbs that they would obtain, which would make it a lot cleaner and a lot easier for you all to make that, to agree on that. We do also have some other phases of construction, 210-4334 and 210-4335. Both those projects will let in September. And then obviously they'll go under construction in 26. So we have about 3 years of work to do on New Mexico 128. So a lot of work to be completed on that route. So obviously impacts WHIP shipments. So a new temporary route is coming this summer. We'll work with WHIP and CBFO on that. And there's more to come on that. So we'll see you this summer again. But for now, we'd like I ask you that you please approve this alternate route for the meantime. And like I said, there's more to come, Mr. Chairman and members. I'll stand for any questions.
From fellow commissioners? With that, you had a check?
One question.
Commissioner
I
McElroy.
think I've got it, but, so the temporary route that you're gonna come back to the commission for is gonna be primarily 62-180?
Mr. Chairman and Commissioner, yes, that's correct. It's not set in stone yet. We're still negotiating with WHIP, and they're going to work through Hobbs. If Hobbs doesn't agree to that resolution, then likely they'll go back on the US 285, the original designated route. I don't think they have much choice otherwise. So like I said, a lot more to come this summer.
Any other questions? With that, you've had a chance to review it. What is the pleasure of this commission? Do I have a motion for approval and adoption of Resolution 2025-02, May extending the term of use of the jail route as temporary negotiated alternate southern WHIP route? What is your recommendation?
Mr. Chairman, recommend approval.
So moved, sir. Second. So moved by Commissioner Tanja, second by Commissioner Taylor. Can I get a roll call?
Chairman Adams,
Yes.
Commissioner McElroy,
Yes.
Commissioner Chenoweth,
Yes.
Commissioner Tonjes,
Yes.
Commissioner Taylor.
Yes.
It carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll go now to B, the FY 2026 Local Government Road Fund Program. Clarissa, it's always good to see you here,
Good to see you as well.
especially when you got money.
I like to come forth with money.
Okay.
So, good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of commission. You can refer to page 69 of our commission book. On this page, you're going to find our request for approval for our FY26 local government road fund projects, and then a list of projects will follow. The Local Government Road Fund is a designated fund that provides financial support for transportation projects led by the local entities. This program operates with a 75% state match and a 25% local match. This enables municipalities and counties to develop, contract, and oversee construction and maintenance efforts. For FY26, the Local Government Road Fund budget is $28 million, and it's distributed as follows. Our county arterial received $6,304,000. Our cooperative program, $10,183,000. Our school bus route program, $3,879,000. And our municipal arterial program, $6,134,000. With that, Chairman and members of the commission, I stand for any questions.
Any questions from fellow commissioners? What is your recommendation?
Mr. Chairman, I recommend approval of these awards as presented.
You've heard the recommendation on the FY 2026 Local Government Road Fund Program. Do I have a motion? We have a motion from Commissioner Taylor.
Second.
Second from Commissioner McElroy. All in, roll call.
Chairman Adams,
Yes.
Commissioner McElroy,
Yes.
Commissioner Chenoweth,
Yes.
Commissioner Tonjes,
Yes.
Commissioner Taylor.
Yes.
Card carries unanimous. We'll go on now. Clarissa, to the scope of work update request.
If you can turn to page 85 of your blue book, you'll see a request to expand the scope of work for control number L100-613 that was submitted by Luna County. Luna County is seeking the approval to modify their previous scope of work for this project. The requested change is intended to enable their engineering partners to provide more comprehensive support across additional phases of this project. The original scope of work included pavement rehab and improvements, reconstruction, drainage improvements, blading and shaping, and design of various county roads. The revised scope will be changed to planning, design, construction, pavement rehab and improvements, reconstruction, drainage, blading and shaping, and construction management of various county roads. By adding planning, construction, and construction management, this update ensures a more complete and well-managed approach to road development in Luna County, specifically to handle increased freight movement and improve flood control within the area. With that, I have a stand for any questions.
What's your recommendation?
I recommend approval.
Okay. No, but I mean, you're all right with that in case we get, because this could open for more requests for,
Yeah, no, I'm okay with that.
okay, Mr.
If I
Secretary.
can, Mr. Chairman, just a quick question, because it's not clear here, is the expanded scope increasing their allocation by any dollar amount?
No, the allocation will stay the same. They just want to be able to do additional work.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, recommend approval.
Okay. Any other discussion from fellow commissioners? With that, and you've heard the recommendation, do I have a motion for scope of work update request, LGRF control number L100613?
Move for approval.
I have a motion for approval from Commissioner McElroy. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Commissioner Taylor. Roll call vote.
Chairman Adams,
Yes.
Commissioner McElroy,
Yes.
Commissioner Chenoweth,
Yes.
Commissioner Tonjes,
Yes.
Commissioner Taylor.
Yes.
That carries unanimously. Thank you, Clarissa. Now, John Tennyson. Bar number 20, payroll.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, Commission, Secretary. I'm here to present bar number 20. What this bar is going to be basically doing is it is requiring the increase in the budget authority in the personal services and employee benefits, which is our category 200s, by $15 million. These funds are needed to cover payroll-related activities, reducing the agency vacancy rate and appropriate placement and overtime. So by program, we're looking to increase each P code, our project design and construction, P562, by $1 million. Highway operations, P563, by $12.5 million. And business support, P564, by $1.5 million. And this bar is supported by state road fund balance. And I respectfully request bar approval.
Any questions from fellow commissioners? Mr. Secretary.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I know you often talk about DOT being a family, and I do believe we are, and there's always one relative that causes the family to fight. In our family, it's payroll. And so so what we're trying to do to address this really, I think, is getting very granular about what payroll allocations are by division, and budgeting them out by division so that, we get away from this notion that leadership plays a role in identifying which positions are critical and not critical, and really empower our managers to manage their own payroll, which we think is going to address this issue. But just fundamentally what's happening here is we're increasing our total payroll budget for this year. There's a number of reasons why it's higher than what we anticipated. Our vacancy rate over the past couple of years has dropped 5%. It's over 115 positions that we've brought on board. We've done a lot to ensure, just and fair compensation for our workers, and that's increasing it. And those are really the two drivers. And now that we can kind of see more clearly, or at least better predict what we're going to spend, we budgeted in FY26 for that, including some benefit increases. And so we're trying to right size ourselves so that, this isn't an ongoing occurrence. So I recommend approval.
Any comments from fellow commissioners? With that, you've heard the recommendation. Do we have a motion for approval of bar number 20, payroll? So moved by Commissioner Taylor. Second by Commissioner Tonjes. Can I get a roll call?
Chairman Adams,
Yes.
Commissioner McElroy,
Yes.
Commissioner Chenoweth,
Yes.
Commissioner Tonjes,
Yes.
Commissioner Taylor.
Yes.
That carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, John. And now we'll go on to bar number 21, bond refunding.
Alrighty. I'm here to present bar number 21. An FY25 bar is required to increase the budget authority and other costs cap 400 by 273,558, as well as in other financing uses by 124,051, $426 million. This is to increase this. This is because we did a refunding back in July. I'm not sure if you guys remember. So this is strictly to record the refunding that we did. So in July, we had a refund. We saved about $8.6 million, $8.6 million. And we also shortened our bonding years that we have to pay. So we were supposed to pay until 2032, and now we shortened it to 2031. So this is strictly just to record the transaction. So with that, I respectfully ask for your approval.
Any comments from fellow commissioners? Mr. Secretary, what's your recommendation?
Mr. Chairman, recommend approval.
We have a recommendation from the Secretary to approve bar number 21, recording 2024A bond refunding. Do I have a motion? So moved by Commissioner Tonjes. Second by Commissioner Taylor. Roll call.
Chairman Adams?
Yes.
Commissioner McElroy?
Yes.
Commissioner Chenoweth?
Yes.
Commissioner Tonjes?
Yes.
Commissioner Taylor?
Carries unanimously. Thank
And
you.
I also just want to mention that in FY26, we'll have outstanding debt service of $575.9 million. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we'll go on to operating budget. John?
All right. Mr. Chair, Commission, Mr. Secretary, I'm back for the encore, so. We get to what we are going to be loading on July 1 as far as our FY26 operating budget is going to go proceeding forward. So back in January, meeting with LFC and DFA, we go through negotiations of what our FY26 budget requests look like. From there, we go through discussions on where we want to see our budget go. Obviously, through updates from the Secretary with legislative process and how that all went. What you have in front of you is what we are going to proceed forward with come July 1. So if you look at column A, which is our FY26 budget request, you'll see in our category 200s, we respectfully requested $222 million. Against, in the 300 category, we asked for $668.9 million. In our category 400s, we asked for about $360 million there for an overall request of $1.251 billion. Out of all negotiations and what was published on House Bill 2 and signed by the governor, we will proceed forward with the following in column B, which is our FY26 operating budget. The category 200s will have $256.5 million. The category 3s will have $674.3 million. And our category 400s will have $379.9 million. So overall difference change from the request to the operating budget was in the category 200s, we will see an increase of $34.1 million. In our contractual 300 category, we will see an overall increase of $5.4 million. And in category 400s, we will see an overall increase of $19.9 million. So our FY26 operating budget will be $1.310 billion. Going forward, the appropriation will be supported, by the following revenues: $561.9 million of state road fund, $104.8 million of restricted funds, $10.3 million of transfers from TRD and DFA. This year, we were allocated a special appropriation of $6.9 million of transfers that will come from the Healthcare Affordability Act, which will be given to us. And of course, $579.5 million of federal revenue. By program, we will go in with $820.7 million for project design and construction, $323.2 million for highway operations, $57.4 million for business support, and $109.4 million for modal. Just to reiterate, the FY26 budget request against the FY26 operating budget, state and restricted revenue increased by $6.3 million. State road fund and restricted fund balance added $46.5 million. Federal revenue increased by $106,000. Career employees will receive a 4% salary increase as located in Section 8 of House Bill 2. And in addition to what I mentioned earlier, a one-time transfer from the Healthcare Affordability Act due from state agencies paying 80% of healthcare costs per FTE, which will be allocated to us. And if you'd like, I can go into further detail by P code, Mr. Chair.
Is there any questions, comments from fellow commissioners? If not, what is your recommendation?
Mr. Chairman, just recommend approval. I was trying to find, and I don't want to put John on the spot, but I was trying to find our FY25 OPBUD numbers here. The point was going to be is that it doesn't grow, right? And so I think that's just the point to make. This budget reflects the legislative outcomes, namely, but pointing to state road fund and federal formulaic funds, you just see these. I don't want to use the word insignificant, but relative to the cost of doing business, they're insignificant. So I just wanted to make the point that this challenge of DOT's flat funding over the last several years with, 20+% cost escalations in doing construction just materializes as just less miles being worked on, right? And so it's my soapbox now when you think about major rehabilitation at $400,000 a mile with $10 million per district in maintenance funds from the legislature. It's like pick your 20 miles and work on them. And so we just can't get anywhere that way. So just wanted to make that point, but I recommend approval of FY26 operating budget.
Any questions? So do I have a motion to approve the FY26 operating budget?
Move for approval.
So moved by Commissioner McElroy. I have a second. Second by Commissioner Tonjes. All in roll call vote.
Chairman Adams,
Yes.
Commissioner McElroy,
Yes.
Commissioner Chenoweth,
Yes.
Commissioner Tonjes.
Yes.
Commissioner Taylor.
Carries unanimously. Thank you, John.
Mr. Chair, Commission, thank you.
We'll go on now. Now, on these ones, it says proposed amendments. Are they action items on what was proposed, or are they proposed?
They're action items on what we're proposing.
Okay.
Thank you, Chairman Adams, members of the commission.
Welcome.
Just to reintroduce myself, I'm John Newell. I'm Deputy General Counsel, one of the Deputy General Counsels for the Department of Transportation, New Mexico Department of Transportation. I am here in Steve Hamilton's place, and he was originally on the agenda to present the two action items on amendments to Commission Policy 6 and Commission Policy 30. So Mr. Chairman, if you don't mind, I'll just present both of them.
Yes.
Okay.
Fine. We'll go ahead and do that.
Okay, so Commission Policy 6 is the role and responsibilities of the Secretary of Transportation. For this policy, there's just a couple minor cleanups and the addition of a provision that what we would call a catch-all provision. That's a future-facing provision that would allow this policy to stand even if the legislature makes changes to the roles and responsibilities of the Secretary. And this language is the Secretary shall exercise other powers and perform other duties as provided by law. So that's the major change that we're proposing for Commission Policy 6. And as we already touched on, Mr. Hamilton presented these at the most recent previous commission meeting as informational items, and today we're asking for this to be on the agenda as an action item, or it's on the agenda as an action item to be approved. The second one, Commission Policy 30, Office of Inspector General. For this one, we really the changes were minor. They were changes to the law referenced on the commission policy. Mr. Hamilton and other OGC staff had identified that the law referenced was more restrictive than it needed to be, that we felt it necessary to more generally reference the law on that one. And so again, this was presented as an informational item at the most recent commission meeting, and now today we're asking for it to be adopted.
Is there any comments, questions from fellow commissioners? With that, do I have a motion to approve G, proposed amendments to Commission Policy Number 6, role and responsibilities of the Secretary of Transportation, CP6, and H, proposed amendments to Commission Policy Number 30, Office of Inspector General, CP 30. So moved by Commissioner Taylor. Second by Commissioner Tonjes. All in favor? Oh, roll call, I'm sorry.
Chairman Adams,
Yes.
Commissioner McElroy,
Yes.
Commissioner Chenoweth,
Yes.
Commissioner Hodges.
Yes.
Commissioner Taylor.
Yes.
Thank you. Just a quick comment on, if you can let Steve know that some of the commissioners are getting named on some of these lawsuits that are tort claims. And
Oh, okay.
if he can be in contact with the commissioners, because they're trying to find out whether or not they should respond or not respond. I know that risk management takes over at some point
Right.
and stuff, so that if they do get him, that he be in contact with the commissioner of that, of whatever that tort claim is or suit.
Okay, yes, Commissioner,
Because they don't know whether they're supposed to go or not go, or, you know what I'm saying?
I understand, Chairman Adams, and I will let Steve know, yes.
Okay,
And-
I appreciate it,
No.
thank you.
Mr. Chair, on that point, I'm one of those, and, I had, attorney actually come and visit with me in Farmington. So they're taking care of that when we're named in those cities.
Okay, I had another commissioner that didn't know, and then he got called to a deposition, and he didn't know whether to go or not go, and he couldn't get a hold of Steve, and so he ended up going. So
Okay.
I think it's just to put a guy at each, should I go or not go, what do I do?
Okay, yeah, and I'll, as I said,
You
I'll
know-
talk with
you know
Steve,
what
I'll
I'm
let him
saying.
know your concern,
Yeah,
Mr. Chairman.
I appreciate it, thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, now we're gonna go on to I, final rulemaking action to repeal and replace rules 18.3.4 NMAC safety requirements. And that's John and Alicia,
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. So this is the final rulemaking action. You approved the rulemaking in Los Alamos at the Los Alamos meeting of the commission. This is when PRC functions were transferred, we had adopted new rules, and one of them ended up being a public safety issue, which was only allowing ambulance drivers over 21 years of age. So the department did issue an emergency rule, promulgated an emergency rule to change that, so ambulance drivers could be 18 years of age or older. And part of an emergency rule is there are only 6 months in which to promulgate a permanent rule. So in the Los Alamos meeting, I came before you asking to open this rulemaking, and this is the request to approve the final rule based on that rulemaking to finalize, make permanent the emergency rulemaking provision. In addition, we also took the opportunity to update our drug testing provisions as well as our background check provisions in this. And we held a public meeting in April. I'm blanking on the date, April 25th? March 25th. No, April 25th. Sorry. We held the meeting on a public hearing on April 25th. We had a variety of comments from ambulance service providers, from county officials, from an attorney for a county regarding the testing and the drug testing and background check changes that were put into this rule. We listened to those comments. We tabulated them there in the report that you were given as part of these materials. In response to that, what we did, they were concerned, especially the smaller ambulance providers and the fire departments in smaller communities were concerned about some of the drug testing requirements and the background requirements. So there is a statute that allows us to take into account for ambulance services the location of the service, the type of service they provide, the resources they have, and we incorporated that into the final version of the rule based on the comments received at that hearing. And now the Transportation Regulation Bureau can now waive requirements of this rule for ambulance services if they demonstrate good cause based on where they're located, what type of services they offer, or what type of area they cover, and what resources they have. So we felt it necessary to respond. So we did make changes to this rule. It's all in the report based on the public feedback. So at this time, we'd like to ask that you approve the final rule so we can go ahead and promulgate it with the state records and archives.
What is your recommendation?
I have one question, if I can, Mr. Chairman. I know that there was some, specifically here in District Two, there was some ambulatory services that were being provided to employers specifically, and in rule, there were requirements that they couldn't satisfy, one of them being that they have to have a physical establishment in the state of New Mexico. Is that an example of something that now the Bureau might be able to waive as a requirement for operations?
Not under this rule, because this rule only dealt with the safety requirements. That would have to be under our ambulance service rule.
Okay.
But I do believe that we have statutory authority for such a waiver.
Perfect. Right, thanks for that. Mr. Chairman, recommend approval. I know this was a scramble at first, so I appreciate you working quickly to get it addressed and adding some options for more capacity with ambulatory drivers. Thank you.
Any comments, questions from fellow commissioners? If not, you heard the recommendation. Do I have a motion for approval of the final rulemaking action to repeal and replace rules 18.3.4 NMAC safety requirements? So moved by Commissioner Taylor.
Second.
Second by Commissioner McElroy. Roll call.
Chairman Adams,
Yes.
Commissioner McElroy,
Yes.
Commissioner Chenoweth,
Yes.
Commissioner Tonjes,
Yes.
Commissioner Taylor.
Yes. Carries unanimously. Thank you. Thank you for your hard work.
Thank you,
It's
Mr.
very
Chairman.
much
Thank you,
appreciated.
commissioners.
On the next one, on J, we had a request by Commissioner McElroy to hold the November meeting, November 2025 in Sunland Park. We had originally had Elephant Butte, so this is just to go ahead and approve that. Do I have a motion for approval of our November 20th, 25 meeting at Sunland Park?
So moved.
Second.
So moved by Commissioner Chenoweth, seconded by Commissioner McElroy. Can I get a roll call vote?
Chairman Adams,
Yes.
Commissioner McElroy,
Yes.
Commissioner Chenoweth,
Yes.
Commissioner Tonjes,
Yes.
Commissioner Taylor.
Yes. Carries unanimously, so our November 20th meeting will be at Sunland Park. Our next meeting on July 17th will be in Mora. And I just, so that we know, Adam and I will go and see what facilities they have down there to make sure that we can accommodate everybody in case that there's no changes, and we can make it have a special meeting and change it before that. But we'll go down and see what everything is. I would recommend, since we're here, that you make arrangements to stay in Las Vegas if you're gonna spend the night, because there's really not too much lodging there in Mora. So it's 20 minutes, 20 miles. So if you stay in Vegas, I think that would be good. And maybe we can even, for commissioners and for some of our employees, we can even make for some transportation. We can get some vehicles, Suburbans, whatever, and drive people down there and then drive them back if we need to. We've done that in the past. And we actually used to do it when the commissioners would fly and they would land and they would pick them up and take them, and sometimes venues away. So make plans if you're gonna stay, to make your reservations in Vegas. It's gonna be beautiful down there. You'll enjoy it. Those guys said they were gonna do chicharrones and all that stuff. They do it big down there, so, but just a little history on our travel arrangements, and we'll be sending out notices as we get closer. So with that, yes.
Doesn't Mora have a giant building there that I know it's unfinished?
It's a beautiful, huge courthouse that has been unfinished like for the last
Still empty.
maybe 10 years. I don't want to exaggerate, but they said they were gonna at least get it ready for us to have a meeting in there. And they have a big area. They said they could accommodate 100 people easy.
Yeah.
But we'll make sure. But you're right, it is a beautiful, they just ran out of money. So, with that, I'm gonna go ahead and go on to Mold, district projects and change order updates.
Teacher, commissioners. Uh-oh. There you go.
Notice.
Yeah, we have about 11 change orders. This is since the last meeting we had in Gallup. Now we have 11 change orders, and they are from all the districts. And these change orders are in your package. I don't know if anybody has any questions on them, specific questions on some of the change orders. We have all the district engineers, so they can answer if any specific question about the change orders. These are some of them, the adding items, some of them are increasing items, and I think a couple of them are adding time to the contracts.
I did have a question on one of the, under the 100,000 plus,
What change order is, Commissioner?
District 4, US 64 project on Palo Furtado, establishing open graded fishing course. I guess my question is, we didn't have open graded fishing course on that project?
One answer.
Yes, we added it after the fact.
Why wasn't it on the original design?
I wasn't the district engineer at the time of that original design, so I don't recall why.
How about technical support staff? Do they,
They know.
during the development,
I think it probably had something to do with the speed limit being pretty slow out there.
what do you add up there, 45,
Yeah,
50
30,
maybe?
35.
35 in some of the curves?
Yes, there's a lot of curves, and based on the geometry up there, it's pretty slow.
Okay. So the decision, I guess one of the things, a little bit of an issue I had with this particular spreadsheet is it shows description, but it doesn't really give a reason. And I don't know if you can, Mo, if you can add that for the next, maybe talk to the construction bureau, maybe make that change there on the description and reason, add both. Shows description, doesn't really give a reason on the change.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner, the description says establishing the warm mix method.
Well, I
for
understand that, but it doesn't have a reason.
Doesn't have a reason?
Reason for the change order. That's a description, that's a change.
I guess what Commissioner McElroy is saying, every time you do a change order, it's because something happened that was
Exactly.
unexpected. So what determined that we needed to do a change order and we couldn't fulfill it according to the original plans?
Mr. Chair, Commissioner, usually when we change from a normal hot mix to the warm mix, because it increases the life of the material or the product, and that was a business decision I think they made. It increases the cost, but it's really increasing the life cycle of the material.
Yeah, but you didn't have OGFC on the project, so, I mean,
I think they might have had OGFC, just changing it to warm mix, which is a little bit more expensive than a normal hot mix OGFC.
well, Adam said they didn't have it, so, I mean, that's the way I kind of understood it from the description. You're establishing the item. You're not taking away an item for a different type of OGFC. So you didn't have it on the project, so you're establishing the item.
Mr. Chair,
I guess what
Commissioner,
I'm saying
I
is-
agree. We change it next time to change. Make
Well,
sure we capture all the
For example, like,
reasons.
according to the plans, excavation of X amount of yards
Right.
from there, and all of a sudden you have a change order, and it went from 50,000 yards to 175,000 yards. And so the reason is that we ran into soft spots, or we ran into some areas that were unstable that we didn't originally figure. So the reason is that you're trying to stabilize more roadway that you hadn't anticipated. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Is that
Thank you.
about right, John?
Yeah, I mean, I think,
That would be the reason.
I think Mo and Adam understand
Okay.
what I'm getting at.
Mr. Chair, Commissioner, I think we need to add it to the, not to the explanation, to the process of change order, make sure we have captured all the reasons.
Well,
why
I
a
mean, I'm
change
sure the
order is-
change order, I
The
mean,
change order has to state it.
I mean, you had some change orders in here farther down the list, kind of the whole change order itself. That wasn't one of them, but those had the reason. All I'm saying is, instead of just description and the reason. And I think you had that on the time change orders. And that is a
Yes.
little more, you explained it a little bit better. I guess that's just something with the change, with the spreadsheet I was asking for.
And you know what I would suggest? Like, we're supposed to get our packets a week ahead of time.
Right.
And all the commissioners have a chance to review it. And so I think at that point that something like this, you can be in contact. And so when you give your report, you can, if it's not in there, or whatever information a commissioner is requesting, that it be communicated so that at the time of the meeting, we can have what we need.
Mr. Chair, Commissioner, you all have the experience, you know that when we add in, usually open graded friction course is to enhance safety of the roadway. So I'm sure that's what the decision was made to add OGFC project. But I agree with adding it to the commission book and explain it. And also, really, the explanation has to be right at the beginning during the change order development. So we capture all the reasons what's happening, so there is no questions why the decision was made. But from you all experience and my experience, OGFC is added because always is a safety fact. Thank you.
I don't think there's a problem with them adding it as long as there's a reason why they added, like, you know what, because on any project, there's the unforeseen, there's something that you didn't anticipate, and so that's usually what your change orders come in. I remember one time we were doing a project and I knew it was gonna be problems, and they only did 10 driveways. And on that road, there was about 40 driveways. And so when we did the 10, I knew it was gonna happen, these other people came and said, hey, how come they got, and we didn't get? And so there was a change order, reason being, they needed to do them all. So stuff like that, but anyway. Any other questions?
I did have a question on the very last change order on that sheet. $1.3 million change order for increasing the SP3 complete. It's a District 6 project on New Mexico 264. I guess here again, just the reason, I guess, why that came up.
Chairman, Commissioner McElroy, I actually covered that in my presentation in Gallup as to the reason why. So we ended up having to widen some sections of New Mexico 264 to accommodate some issues that we had in the HMA design. So then we added an inch of HMA, which then caused a lot of, you know how just kind of a chain effect of things that happen. So that was the reasoning for that, was a change in the typical section of the HMA.
Okay.
Any other questions? With that, Mo, thank you. Thank you. We're gonna go ahead and move on to the annual report to State Auditor regarding our regional transit districts. Hello, Dave.
Hello, Mr. Chair. Good to see you.
You too.
Commissioners, Secretary, this is a requirement of the RTD Act, where as per Section 73-25-15B NMSA 1978 requires that the Commission shall file an annual report with the State Auditor concerning the activities of all active regional transit districts. The report shall detail how many districts have been created, describe their boundaries, and specify the regional transit systems that are being provided and how they're being funded. Attached in your packet is as an information item is the FY 2024 report that has been sent to the state auditor in compliance with this section and Commission Policy 90. Do I have any questions?
You had a chance to review it, fellow commissioners. Is there any questions, comments, or any other? I guess not, Dave.
Okay.
We appreciate you coming. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Good to see you.
You too. As we move on to everybody's favorite part of the meeting, I just wanted to make a couple of comments. I wanted to thank Christine. Christine's been our admin secretary for the board, and she's been with us for a while now. And she just got a new job. She's going to be working in the lab. So we want to congratulate her on her new venture and thank her for her services. And on behalf of this commission, thank you. And at this, from here on, I think if you need to get information or you need to call somebody, it's going to be Tammy. You'll stand up, Tammy, so you can, I think they know you. And you can give her a call. And I think she's going to be doing it temporarily, right, Secretary?
Mr. Chair, we don't want to give her hopes that it's going to be temporary. We'll just tell her it'll be for as long as we need.
Okay. And so with that, if after the meeting you want to get her phone number, whatever, and feel free to call her if you need anything. And Christine said before the meeting that she's always willing to if you need any help too. So again, we thank you. We wish you luck on your new venture and we thank you for service.
It's been a pleasure working with you.
And then we look forward to working with you too, Tammy. So thank you. Okay, with that, is there any other business or anyone else to come before this Transportation Commission? If not, we're not leaving yet. We're gonna take a half-hour break and then we'll come back and we'll adjourn the meeting. So just hang out here. I know everybody's anxious to hit the road and some of you have far travels. And so with that, do I have a motion for adjournment of this meeting at 11:25?
So moved.
So moved by Commissioner Chenoweth. Do I have a second? Second. Second, Commissioner Taylor. Can I get a roll call?
Chairman Adams?
Yes.
Commissioner McElroy?
Yes.
Commissioner Chenoweth?
Yes.
Commissioner
Take whatever's left in there, the food.
Okay. That carries. There's still some food in there. So if you want to take some for the road, I'm going to get something because I'm not going to stop. So get some food.
Next time I have a table for you guys.
Yes.
I just want to let you know.